This is the OPB, Omit Personal Bias, and we're gonna talk a little bit about. What did we say we're gonna talk about today?
It's already scuffed.
It is a little scuffed. Injury stories.
Yeah.
And that's when we'll start off.
Yeah. Today's agenda. It's a very casual day, but starting off with some injury stories. Transition. We'll see where it goes.
We'll see where it goes.
So I mean, you want to take the reins on the first one? You want to start off?
For sure, dude. The story of me breaking my wrist. Have you ever heard that story?
I feel like I have, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. So reiterate.
So
for me and the people.
July 3rd, going into 6th grade. You know, I had some good family friends over, and we were just like gooning around the house, playing manhunt, like doing all those sorts of things. And my friend Nico was here, and he was a lot taller than me at the time because he's 2 years older than me.
Okay.
And like we were coming down the stairs, and like he jumped up and he grabbed onto, like, you know how there's like the top of my stairs.
Yeah.
Stairs go down, and there's like the walls in between you, and then there's the floor up here.
Yeah.
He like grabbed on top of it and like swung down and landed. And I tried to do the same thing as him. But I jumped a lot further up the stairs like a fucking idiot and swung, lost my grip, fell back and fucking landed all my weight right on my wrist, broke my growth plate in half, and dislocated my wrist.
Damn, a little double whammy.
Oh yeah, but this is I was immediately like in tears, like just in so much pain because like it was the first bone I'd ever broken, and I was young. I was pretty young, and my dad was like, should we go to the hospital? Do you think you broke your wrist? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I didn't break my wrist, blah, blah, blah. And that night, I decided to sleep on the couch and try and sleep on my broken wrist. And, the next morning came around. I didn't sleep a second. And then my dad's like, so you want to go to the hospital now? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
On the way to the hospital, we stopped, got myself some chocolate donuts. Those little ones at like a gas station.
Yeah.
And then when I get there, it's like July 4th. So like people are already coming in with probably like fucking hands blown up from fireworks and burns and like all these crazy things. And I'm just sitting there with my dad holding my wrist. So we go in, just chilling there, explaining to him what happened. And then they pull in this x-ray, like portable x-ray machine.
Yeah.
First they sent me to take x-rays in like the x-ray room, and then after that they had to take me back to the, like, it wasn't the emergency room, but to the room where they were gonna do some work. They had to bring a portable x-ray machine in there because, like I said before, I had broken my growth plate in half and dislocated it.
That's crazy.
So what they had to do is they had to knock me out. So they put me under.
Put you under for it.
They had to put me under because they had to jar my wrist around a bunch and then scan it with the x-ray to see if they had relocated it. And
so it's just trial and error?
Yeah. So they put me under, and my dad was telling me how, like, he says that he doesn't think anyone could have endured whatever they did to me conscious because they were fumbling around with a dislocated, broken wrist, trying to get it back into place. And I remember, like, when they first gave me the anesthesia, they said, all right, count down back from 100. So I started going. I got down to 47.
You're just out?
Dude, but the thing is, it's supposed to knock you out in like 7 seconds. And I wasn't even like going quickly counting down, like towards like the last like
you were taking
30 seconds. Like I was like taking breaths, like getting more tired. So they'd given me enough to knock me out, but I wasn't entirely unconscious.
Oh, really?
I was just basically like had my eyes closed, couldn't move at all.
Kind of like a sleep paralysis.
I couldn't feel what they were doing to my wrist, but I could feel them like shaking my entire body.
So you could feel like the movement, but not the pain almost.
And I remember I like slightly woke up.
Thanks, Leopopoulos, for the follow.
But
how are you doing?
That's good.
Hey, continue.
And I remember waking up, like the tiniest bit, waking up mid-procedure where they're relocating my wrist and broken bone, and just like thinking there was this pink alien standing above me, shaking me, because the nurse was sitting there like literally holding my shoulders down because like they were jarring me to fuck around. But then I woke up entirely, and I was just sitting in the room. They're like, my dad was trying to get me to leave because I had been in the hospital for a considerable amount of time. And I just remember I was sitting there in this fucking hospital bed, and I tried to stand up. They just fucking blew chunks. I spewed all over the place, and I lost those donuts. And ever since that day, I can never eat those little chocolate donuts again.
Dude, that's one of my biggest fears. Like, I've been under anesthesia twice. One for when I got my
wisdom teeth.
I couldn't think. One when I got my wisdom teeth out, and the other time when I broke my shoulder. That was always a fear of mine, like waking up in the middle and just like being able to see what's going on and stuff. Because I'm trying to think the first time I broke a bone. Like, that's not a bad way. That's not a bad like first bone to break. Like, your wrist is kind of a
yeah. Like, it's not the most painful bone to break.
It's kind of common too and stuff.
Exactly.
I think the first bone I ever broke, like where I kind of had to go to the doctor for. I had a hairline fracture in my heel. That was kind of a casual thing. But the first bone I ever broke was when I broke my shoulder into 2 pieces. So I've told you this story,
I think
right?
you have, but like just breaking your shoulder.
It's one of my favorite stories to tell.
Okay, hit it.
So this was junior year of high school. I played soccer in high school, so we would always do team dinners. We'd go over each other's houses, have dinner together as a team or whatever. Team bonding and stuff.
Yeah.
So this was junior year, and we were over this senior's house, Cole. So we were all hanging out. We had dinner. We were doing our thing or whatever. And we have a tradition. Well, we had a tradition. We would do freshman fights. So after we all had dinner, we were hanging out and start getting a little dark. We would all like get in the back and kind of like form a big circle and do like just have a wrestling ring almost. But we called it freshman fights because that sounds way cooler.
You send little freshmen, fight them.
Yeah, there were no like fists thrown or anything. It was all.
It's like locker boxing.
Yeah, it was all in good fun. But so we had some of the underclassmen going at it for a little bit. We had our fun, and I kind of wanted to get in on the action. So I turned to my friend Joey, who's same age as me, one of my best friends. And the thing is, though, it was an unfair matchup because I'm 5'8". At the time, I was probably about $140. I didn't have too much.
You weren't
meat on the bones. But Joey, he's about 2 inches shorter than me. He's about 5'6", 5'7", but he had an easy 75 pounds on me. So, I mean, not my smartest move to go up against him, but I thought I could take him.
You're like,
I was confident.
You were taking that confidence and you said, let's fucking go.
But I'm like, Joey, let's go. He's like, okay, let's do it. Why not? So we're going at it. Like, I almost get him. He almost gets me. But I don't know what I messed up. But he ends up, like, getting a fireman's carry around his, like almost over his shoulder. With me almost over his shoulder. And there's nothing I could do. I can't get out of it. He just, boom, goes down on top of me, which was a more or less
aggressive,
not even more or less legal move in what we were doing.
Really?
Yeah, because it wasn't like slam you as hard as I can.
It was just kind of like throw you down with your own way.
Yeah, but so he throws me down with him on top, and my shoulder hits like a tree stump. And when I hit the stump, it's just like, oh, that's not good. Like, I didn't hear anything, I didn't feel anything. But I just hit it, and I
knew immediately.
I just had so much adrenaline, I didn't feel the pain. But I was like, nope, that's it. We're done. Wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
So everyone's like getting in a circle around me and stuff. Like, like what's going on? Like, this isn't good. Like, normally he would get back up because like I have a high pain tolerance.
Yeah.
Like, I get back up quick, and like during soccer and stuff, they knew that, and they all gather around. They're all like, "You okay? You okay?" I'm like, probably not. So the parents come out. They're like, "Why are you all in a circle?" And
you're just sitting there.
I'm just sitting there like, "Can someone call my parents?"
Probably broke a bone.
Yeah. So my dad comes and he picks me up, and the pain's just getting worse and worse. He takes me to the hospital, and when we get to the hospital, they take an X-ray, and the doctor who was assigned to me looks it over, and she's like, "Oh yeah, your shoulder's just dislocated we're just gonna pop it back into place. I'm like, okay, cool, fix me up, doc, whatever. So they're about to do it, and pain's still getting worse at this point. They give me a little more morphine. But another
Morphine?
yeah,
Damn.
like that's how bad the pain was.
Jesus.
But luckily there was another specialist coming in. They're like, let's get a second opinion. Why not? Second opinion's always good.
Oh yeah.
So the other doctor comes in. He takes a look at the X-ray. He's like, oh yeah, there's a little hairline fracture. We don't want to pop this back into place, even if it is dislocated. We're gonna send you home for a few days. We're gonna let it just like heal up on its own, so we can pop it back into place if we have to. So we're like, okay.
I didn't think that would be a procedure for a hairline fracture because it's still a broken bone. All right, continue.
Well,
Sorry.
it's a hairline fracture, so it's not like things are disconnected or anything and moving around.
But like, it's still.
But like, if you try and pop it back into place with a hairline fracture,
it's probably
it can
gonna
get
create.
worse.
Okay.
So that was the whole logic behind it.
All right.
So like, go home, come back in a few days. We'll do the procedure. Let us know if the pain gets worse or anything. And so I go home, sleep through the night. Pain's getting worse. It's getting worse. So my mom didn't want to go back to the same hospital, so we go to UH to get another second opinion. So we go. They do an X-ray, and the X-ray is still on my Instagram. But basically, my humerus, which is like this arm bone right here, split completely in two, like two separate pieces when it should be one, like totally separated. And they're like, yo, that's not good. I was like, yeah, that's not good. So they got me into surgery within a few hours because of how badly it was broken. So I fractured my humerus, and they had to put me under. I got surgery. I got 3 pins in my shoulder, and I was in a sling letting that heal up for about 7 months.
7 months?
So it was a long time.
Oh my god! Probably because those pins. Anytime
Yeah, well,
they're
also
putting
my
pins.
bone was just in 2 separate pieces, so that takes some time.
Yeah.
But the weird thing was I had to do physical therapy for a while just because like
Really?
I lost movement because of like where the bone disconnected. Like if you look, like one arm goes farther
Yeah,
back.
I can see.
My
that.
right can go way farther back than my left.
Do the pins also constrain how far you can go, or
Well,
is
the
it
pins
just
got
like?
taken out.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
They
So
were
it's
just
just
holding
the way
everything
that the
in place.
bone and
It's just the way
shoulders
everything
look, okay.
healed and that. But so I had to go through physical therapy for about 2 months just to regain mobility because I hadn't moved in so long. But when I first took my sling off, my elbow was locked in place.
Yeah, it's like
because I hadn't moved in so long. So like when I first got out of my sling, I could move my elbow like that much, maybe. It was crazy.
I had like when I broke my wrist, it was super weird getting the cast off for the first time because I had 2 different casts. The first time, like, they were just taking it off to put a new one on because I had swam in it and I had a full arm cast.
It was getting a little nasty.
Yeah, it was gross as shit. It was summertime. I was swimming in it because I had one of the not waterproof, but like water casts.
Yeah.
And I remember like the first time they took it off, like he was like, "How much can you move your wrist?" And I was like, I'm like, nope, barely can move. It hurts so bad. But then the second time I got it off, that was it was excruciating.
Super stiff.
Yeah, because like, although, you know, my wrist was healed up, like you said, it's very similar. It's just like locked in place
You
for
just
so
haven't
long.
used it. The blood flow gets so
and the
whack
muscles
all
are
that.
just
Yeah.
not used to it. And oh god,
Yeah.
it took a while for me to like be able to like, you know, get it
that
back.
movement back.
And I feel like it's the tiniest bit. Like, I feel like I have the tiniest bit of
Yeah.
impairment, whatever. you
Like
want.
I never noticed that I can't put this arm farther
Yeah.
back. That's not even my worst injury though. I've
Yeah,
told you my worst injury,
dude.
but I'll explain it again for those who don't know. So
I was gonna run an injury story.
okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. What context? So 7th grade, I think, give or take. It was during the summer, or no, it was late fall, like right after school had started actually. So I'm outside riding my bike around or whatever, and I'm just in our cul-de-sac going around. And my mom and my neighbor are talking at the corner house of our cul-de-sac where my neighbor lives. They're just talking or whatever, and my mom yells over to me, and she's like, "Hey, can you go pick up Colin, who's my youngest brother, from his friend's house, which is maybe 20 houses down. Pretty close.
A bike
So,
right away.
yeah, a bike, like a quick 3-minute bike ride away. So I'm like, yeah, sure, not a problem. So I'm riding my bike down the street, going to pick him up, popping some wheelies, looking cool as hell. You know how
On
I
the
do.
Duffy.
Yeah. I'm looking dope, popping some wheelies. I get to my brother's friend's house. I'm like, hey, Colin, it's time to come home. And he's like, okay, yeah, I'll be like right behind you or whatever. So I'm riding back down the street, back to my house, and popping some more wheelies. Still looking fly as hell, coolest kid in the neighborhood. And I'm maybe 3 houses away from getting to the entrance of our cul-de-sac, and the front tire of my bike falls off. And since it was the front tire, I go head first over. I break my fall with my forehead. I break my fall with my forehead, and I black out. I don't actually remember going over. And thank God my mom was out there talking with my neighbor, because she just heard my blood-curdling scream. They both run over, and I'm in the street still at this point. So they have me crawl over to the grass on the sidewalk. They call an ambulance. So long story short, I ended up biting a huge chunk out of my lip. I had a mild to severe concussion. I fractured both of the orbitals, which are right behind your eye. I also was wearing my glasses, but if I wasn't, I would have lost partial or all vision in one of my eyes. Because when I got my glasses back a day or two later in the hospital, there's a massive scratch covering the entire left lens. And then, to top it all off, I had an air bubble in my brain.
God.
So, for those who don't know, an air bubble in your brain, not supposed
no
to
bueno.
be there. No
bueno.
good. So, if that would have moved even in like the slightest bit,
Instant death.
Bam. Instantly would have killed me.
No ride guy.
Yeah, just instant. So I was in the hospital for about a week or so, and then I was out of school for another 3 months or so, and then for the next year, head migraines, back and like just on and off for a year. That was my worst injury. Because I don't get hurt a lot, but when
when
I
you
do,
get hurt,
it's go big or go home, baby.
Yeah, no. I think the most recent serious injury I got, like real serious, was when I was I had the bright idea, and I decided, holding onto a car going up a hill whilst riding a longboard, I was like, fucking bet, let's do it. This is gonna be a great time. Oh god, so I'm holding on in the car. We're going up probably about like 25-30 miles per hour, and like I had just started longboarding more seriously.
Yeah.
I'd sat in the car the 2 other times we went up to the top of the hill, and then I was like, I'm confident enough to do this. So I'm sitting there on the passenger, like the back passenger, like I'm holding on to the spoiler of this car, and we're going up, and about like probably 45 to a minute before we were at the top of the hill, I hit this huge rock right on like my front right wheel, and it just wobbled straight down.
You can do about it.
So I got the wobbles. My board flew out, planted my right foot, went straight to my knee, then to my back, and then slammed my head on the ground.
Just one after another combo.
So bad. I gouged my knee, and to this day there's just like a chunk of skin missing, like right here. I had rocks stuck in my arm, and like my helmet was all scraped up, and I just remember like pretty much not running it out, but like I tumbled, and after I like hit, I rolled once, and then like kind of like got up and like ran it out, and I like looked at my fucking arm, and it was just like in shock and just like shaking, because like usually, when you fall on a longboard, like, you're just gonna get scraped. You're not gonna like have little bits of rock stuck in your skin. And I was sitting there like, oh my god. I like pulled them out, and then oh my god, it was just horrible. And I just remember seeing this little girl that we rode past up on the way there, and then as I rode back down, she just saw me all torn up, and her parents like grabbed her and like took her away. It was. I wish I had the picture of it still, but I don't think I ever saved it to my phone, and I think my friend John might have it saved somewhere. But that was my worst injury recently, and that was That was junior year of high school.
Yeah.
Ugh,
no,
God.
my worst, most recent would be my shoulder. It's crazy. All right, let's catch up on chat and all that real quick.
Thank you for everyone for coming. I'm super hyped that people are actually here to watch this. And
Caxi? Hey, how's it going? Leo.
Big Oof Gamer. I love it.
Yep.
That's a great name.
Big Oof.
Big.
How's it going? Russian Gamer. How's it going? Daysai. Thanks for stopping in, brother.
Daysai. What's good, Daysai?
I am chiefing on the jewel. There's nothing I can do. Well, there is something I can do.
There's something we could do about it, our addictions. But
I mean, how's your addiction going? Also, Leo, thanks for the follow. Big Oof, thanks for the follow. Russian, thanks for the follow. Y'all are real ones.
Facts. Yeah, jeez. Is there anything else? Can I choose the next subject?
What's your subject,
yeah,
Leo?
hit us with a subject.
Hit us with it.
What do you want to hear? What do you want to know?
Also, quick side note: Bang, cotton candy, shit,
Garbage.
dog shit. Never get this. Oh, it's so bad.
It's just the worst. You should never have liquid cotton candy.
It doesn't even taste like cotton candy.
It tastes like they took the sugar of it and just soaked.
I don't know.
Just the worst.
It's bad. It's bad.
I just think those bangs are funky, like real funky. Anytime I've had one, I felt like, I was drinking something that should not be that flavor. Like there's a birthday cake one.
Yeah, no.
Cotton candy's pretty bad. That rainbow unicorn one's also pretty whack.
The rainbow unicorn one, which is the one I had earlier, that was pretty solid. I enjoyed that. But this is just shit. But I like bangs because I feel like I get like the most caffeine hit.
Worst relationships.
Worst
yeah, I'm down. I could tell I'll tell mine. I mean, I won't disclose names or anything just because might as well keep privacy.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Hold on. Let me hit this one, dude. So,
do I want to do worst relationships?
I'll do worst relationships.
Yeah,
you can tell an uncomfortable story.
Okay.
So, basically, it was my freshman year. I really wasn't settling into college super well, and like I was just kind of I was pretty lonely at the time just because like I had made friends, but compared to how I was in high school, I hung out with people every single day.
Yeah.
Like regardless of what day it is, and like I had a friend group that was always there for me and like super supportive.
Yeah.
But when I went to school, I didn't quite have that, so it was weird.
You had your friends, but they weren't.
Yeah.
It wasn't as consistent.
Yeah, I wasn't super tight with these people.
Yeah.
So basically, I ended up making friends with some people in my dorm, and I met this one girl who was also pretty lonely at the time, I'd assume. And we just ended up, we kind of like, rushed into trying to date each other just because we were both so lonely. And like, yeah, we liked each other somewhat. Like, I thought she was a kind girl, and I liked her personality for the most part. But then it got pretty toxic pretty quick. And I didn't really realize it at first because like it was one of my first like more serious relationships where like I actually like thought I had serious feelings for this girl, and it was tough. At first I didn't really think much of it because she tried to change a lot of aspects that really like define me as a person.
Yeah.
Like she basically tried to mold me into a more better girlfriend for her, or more better boyfriend.
Yeah. So it wasn't accepting who you were. It was trying to make you her perfect image of whatever she wanted. Gotcha.
But like whenever I started to like pick up on those things, I would always like try and bring that up there and be like, hey, like, shouldn't you like me for who I am and not like hate these things about me? And basically, long story short, there was 11 months of me dating this girl. The first 8 months were relatively okay. It wasn't super toxic yet, but then like sophomore year happened and she practically lived with me because before Ryan lived with me, I had my dorm all to myself. So she was with me pretty much constantly, and like that was another issue. We never got our own time away from each other because both of us still hadn't really made that friend group.
We were kind of relying on each other.
Yeah, we were really relying on each other. And then she just changed so much about me, and I remember like coming home and talking to my friends at home, and they're like, what the hell happened to you? Like, where did you go? Why did this girl made you into her little puppet? And like, at first I was like, what are you talking about? I'm just a better person now, because I took a lot of offense, because I thought it was organic. I thought the way I changed was that I did it for myself, but no, I didn't do any of that stuff for myself. So eventually, it was my birthday, December 1st of my sophomore year, and we went to a party together, and we were having a great time, super fun, great time. And I go to the bathroom for 5 minutes. We're at a frat party, and I come back, and she was dancing with another guy. And it wasn't like just, dancing, like having fun. It was like dancing with another guy. Yeah. And I was like, I come up to her and the guy, and I'm like, it's like, what are you doing? Yeah. And she was like, oh, I just wanted to see if I was still, out there, like if people would dance with me and think I'm hot or attractive. I was like, so am I not good enough? Like, what's I was like, what is, like,
it's an insult to you at that point.
Like, it would have been better if she lied to me and just said the dude just, came up there, but she was so like in control of the relationship at that time that she said that, and I was like, oh, whatever. After the fact, yeah, she does belong to the streets. She went off the rails when I broke up with her. It was great. I thrived. I had the best sophomore year, or the best spring semester and best semester of my life living with this kid, and it was just such a great thing, just skyrocketing while hearing about her fucking hit the fucking dove off the deep end. But it was just once I figured out that I was making these changes not for me but for her, and I didn't want to do it, that's when I was like, you know what, it's probably time that we break up. And then like we tried to like one time like kind of rekindle it, but then she literally immediately went back to being really judgmental and trying to control me, and I was like,
it's just too far gone at that point.
But that was the worst relationship I ever had, and I'm glad that I learned a lot from it, and I'm glad that it did happen, because it made me realize how how important the things that make me are to me.
Yeah. I'm not going to get really in-depth on my worst relationship, but along the same lines, it felt like she was in control, not because I let her, but it was kind of by force. It was toxic and stuff, but I mean, the main thing is I don't regret it, because it definitely helped shape who I am now, and I've learned from those experiences, because for the most part, I don't regret anything in life. I take all of that as an experience to learn from and grow, and I think I would be a totally different person without some of those experiences. So it's not that I enjoyed going through it, but I enjoyed that it happened, so I can kind of be where I am now.
Yeah, no, it's really important to be able to reflect on things that have happened to you, rather than just like burying them and putting them aside. Like being able to realize that something happened that either made you feel a certain way that you didn't like, and like it's really good to know that going into the future, because now
and it betters you as a person, because you know what you want, because like that was my first relationship. I didn't know what a relationship was. Like, it'd been my first serious one, so I was just kind of following along almost, which isn't the right way to go about it, but I didn't know any better. So I mean, I kind of followed along, and it over the course of 2 years, that's how long it went on. But I don't know, I learned a lot. I learned more how to lead myself instead of be led, which I think that's just important in general. Don't be a sheep.
Don't try like, I mean, society has its norms, but like don't always make your life be so focused and surrounded by those norms that you're unwilling to break out of your comfort zone. My sister, I don't think she's like the founder of this quote, but it was like, the beginning of your life starts at the end of your comfort zone. Because like once you like, I agree with that statement. Because when you live in a comfortable life and you're happy with everything that's going on, or maybe not even happen, but like you're settling with everything that's going on, you're never going to experience anything new. And like you're going to get bored eventually, but stepping out of your comfort zone, like I've learned to do since I went to college, it's literally made my life so much more enjoyable, because I've learned so many new things and seen so many new perspectives that it's like really diversified my mentality.
I totally agree with that. Like back in high school, I I sometimes wish my friends now could see what I was like back in high school, just because
Same.
it would be a complete 180 from who I am now. Like back in high school, I had my main friend group, my like only core friend group, and that was me and my two friends, Brett and Ronan. Like they were the boys. I always hung out with them. Like I had my soccer friends, but that was more friendship by correlation of being on the same soccer team. It was never like really kicking it after practice or whatever. I was very
Set in your ways.
yeah, I wasn't very outgoing. I was very introverted.
I also think it's so nuts how we knew each other in high school, just
I
in the
know.
fact that we met at the Miami Summer Scholars program.
Yeah.
Like, we saw each other before we had, like, you know, the chance to, like, mature.
Yeah.
But, like, I still
We kind of like got glimpses into the past of each
yeah.
other.
And, like, I remember you from that. I thought you were a cool kid. I
Really?
Dude, yeah, no, I fucking... You with your Pokemon Go, bro, you were on that shit. You were on that shit,
I don't
bro.
know if that makes me a cool
No,
kid.
but like the thing is, like it was in the time when everyone was, bro. Everyone was on top
Yeah,
of it,
fair.
and you're sitting there like telling all these strats, and you had these nutty things. I was like, what? I thought that was pretty dope. And then when we went to
Kings
Kings
Island?
Island, you
Yeah.
got like the big ass chair and all the
Yeah.
prizes.
I'll give a little backstory on that. So Kings Island, Cedar Point, like all those like Cedar Fair amusement parks and stuff.
Roller coaster parks.
Yeah, roller coaster parks, all that. They have like their carnival games or whatever. You have like your knock down the bottle or whatever. So I'm pretty sure it's common across most like theme parks and all of that. It's the ladder climb game, where you have a ladder that's attached by a single point on each end. You have to climb up. You have to have your 2 feet on the red bar and hit a buzzer, and you win the big old prize. So it's a very hard game, especially if you have terrible balance. But my balance is like outstanding.
On
I have a
fleek.
I have a really, really good center of balance. I can balance really well. So I can win that game every single time without fail. And we went to Kings Island during the Summer Scholars. Excuse me. So we went to Kings Island, and they had a ladder climb game. And I did it because obviously
You're gonna fucking nail it.
I'm amazing at it, so why not? And the prize was this giant, about 6 foot tall red chair.
Massive lawn chair.
Massive lawn chair. Like,
Bigger than he was.
no, way bigger than me. So I would say, like, the sitting area for the chair was about the size
big
of this
as this
table.
table.
It's actually the size of this table. Same color, too, as red. That was so much fun. I loved that chair. So for the Summer Scholars, we went to, like, this class to learn about, like, entrepreneurship and stuff.
Friedman was so dope.
Yeah.
We learned.
He was a great teacher.
Man, I wish I remembered, like, wasn't there like 3 like statements or like 3 things that was like, it was like, don't ask questions. Or it's like, ask questions, don't ask for
don't
limitations, don't limit yourself.
Yeah, don't ask questions, or
ask questions.
ask for forgiveness later was the
something
like
those
that.
lines.
But the class didn't count for anything. It was just kind of a intro to Miami kind of thing.
Big stuff.
But I brought the giant lawn chair to class one day, and the worst thing about winning that though is the bus ride home. Oh my! I felt so bad for the girl I was sitting with. So I was sitting with this girl, Naomi. I thought she was super hot. Like, I had a crush on her at the time. So we get on the bus to, like, go to Kings Island. I'm like, hey, can I sit with you? She's like, yeah, sure.
Macking on the weather, say, what's up, baby?
I don't know if it necessarily went down like that.
Yeah.
But, we were just, like, chatting a little bit on the bus ride there. And she goes off with her group. I go off with my group. And my group ended up being me and this kid, Nick. So I've been to Cedar Point countless times, so rides aren't that big of a deal for me. So I was just in the arcade.
ladder game,
I was
baby.
in the ladder game arcade the entire time. So I had like all this shit, but the big thing was like the 6 foot lawn
Huge
chair.
chair.
Yeah, so we all took a bus there, so we have to take a bus back.
With you and all your prizes.
Yeah, with me and all this shit, like $300 spent on useless stuff. So I felt so bad for this girl because like,
Were you guys crammed in there?
oh, it was so bad. Well, so it was a normal bus, like school bus or whatever. So I had this giant chair which was pretty thick, and I had all this other shit. So I was like squeezed up against the window, almost like this the entire time, because I didn't want to be like, oh, fuck you, move over so I have room.
Yeah.
Because it was
You're
my
being
fault.
a nice guy.
Yeah. So I was just like, kind of like this, like, how was your day? How'd it go?
How was Kings Island?
And she's like, oh, yeah, it was good. I was like, all right, cool.
I had a good time.
I just felt so bad for her because it was hot that day too.
Yeah.
Everyone was sweating. So I was just like crammed in there with all my shit like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't think this through. I don't know how to think ahead.
Do you remember the not a stick like assignment that we got from that class?
No. I remember nothing from that class.
You'll remember it when I tell you this story.
Okay.
So, we all get into class one day and we're sitting there. And Friedman had he was sitting up at his table and there was just a bunch of sticks. Random sticks of all sizes and shapes just all over the table. Yeah. And he's like, all right, everyone come up here and grab one. And then he was like, all right, so what you're to do for the next week is carry the stick around with you everywhere.
I don't remember this.
Basically, you were to imagine what it could be when it was not a stick. Anytime someone would ask you about it, you had to say, oh, that's not a stick, that's my umbrella, or that's my sword, that's my, but I thought that was so interesting because a lot of the kids in the class were like, fuck this. I'm not carrying around this dumbass stick. Yeah. And we were juniors in high school. We didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
But
especially for a class that didn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. But I really liked the class and liked what we were learning just because it was promoting using an open mindset.
Entrepreneurship it's not a teachable thing. There's no specific course you can teach someone to be good at entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is about being creative.
Of skills.
It's about being creative and being able to think outside the box. Yeah. And I think he presented that in a really good way for us to kind of think more, not necessarily think as logically, but kind of think more creatively.
I definitely loved how he went about the class. It wasn't there was assignments, but it never really felt like class. We never had homework. Our homework was the not a stick thing or I don't know, some other little funny things here and there. But I remember whenever we'd get out of class and meet up with all the other kids that were in the program, I would always ask the kids oh, what are you doing in yours? And they're like, oh, we're doing this project, we have to make this PowerPoint, give this speech, and it's what the fuck?
Yeah,
sucks to be you. I got an antenna on me. They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, it's my sword. And they're like, what? That's a stick. I'm like, no, it's my shotgun. And they're like, what the fuck are you doing?
They think you're just crazy.
Literally, but I love that class.
I'm trying to think. If I remember correctly, didn't we have an assignment where it's a blanket and bricks and we had to think of everything we could do with that? Or am I just tripping?
No, I remember. There was definitely something like that.
Something like that. I remember the paper airplane.
Paper airplane one. I fucked on everyone.
Tell the story. All
right, so this is the assignment was you had a piece, or each one in your group, there was 4 or 5 people in your group, got a piece of paper, and you were to try and make the best paper airplane to fly across the room and land as close as the wall as possible.
Yeah, I think it was starting from this point, your paper airplane has to go the farthest.
Yeah, exactly. And basically everyone at first everyone was making airplanes and I was sitting there just kind of not looking around, but I was thinking how can I make my airplane fly the furthest?
Because kind of talking about everyone was making their paper airplanes. That's what I was doing. As soon as you said that, I was like, oh, I've watched a YouTube video on how to make the best paper airplane. So I just start going at it only listening to what he said to me.
But so we continue and a couple kids in my group were just sitting there making paper airplanes, and I don't know if it was our group or another group, but then someone was like, hey, let's just crunch up a ball of paper because it's still a piece of paper and throw it across the room. So we did that, and then I had the bright idea. I was like, he said, don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness.
That's what it was.
And I was like, he never specified that the airplane needed to be thrown. So what I did is I made just a shitty little airplane, nothing too fancy, and I waited until dead last when everyone else had gone, and then I got up there to go throw it, and then I just stood up, fucking walked, tucked it in, and I was like, all right, sat down, and I was like, well, mine went the furthest.
I remember everyone started everyone what, he can't do that, and then Friedman gets all happy, ready to explain his lesson of don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness.
Yeah, because he was people kept limiting themselves. Yeah, don't ask limiting questions. That was another one of the things.
Yeah.
Because, like, so many people ask, like, can we crumple up our paper? And he'd be like, I don't think you should ask that, blah, blah, blah. Like, he wouldn't tell us no, but...
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I felt so powerful after that.
Dude, I thought you were, like,
this
the smartest kid in the world. Which I think that's such a great way to teach creativity and just, like, going with what you're given, not what you want to, not, like, specifying and all that.
Yeah, like, we learned on our own. We kind of taught ourselves. He gave us the guidelines of, like, what needed to be understood, and then we eventually came to those ourselves rather than him just spewing things in our face and hoping that we understood it.
Because I think one of the most limiting things for people is themselves. Because you think of all these constraints for yourself that aren't there, but you kind of put yourself in them for one reason or another.
Man, well, Summer Scholars was a wonderful time.
It was a great time.
Oh, we also, random, we are going to have a little bit more, I can't think of the word, structure to us. We were going to go into, like, vacation kind of stuff next. But
you want to make a little transition?
Yeah, fucking yeah. So, random, out of the blue, I've skied in 11 states and 3 provinces in Canada. Skiing is one of my passions. I love it more than anything else.
Actually, you know what? Before we start this, I'm going to swap out the camera battery real quick so we just don't run into that issue.
But yeah, I've been all over the place. I've been to Colorado, Montana, Wyoming.
Oh shit, we're still on 3 bars.
Really?
We're vibing. I don't know what I'm on about.
But like I said, Utah, Montana, Colorado, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, Vermont, New York, and then I went to Quebec, Canada, Banff, Canada.
Banff is one of those places I've always wanted to go because I've seen so many amazing pictures of it.
I had no idea it was as good as it was, dude. But when I went to Quebec, that was such a weird place to go because, like, I had only been out of the country a couple times, and that was only to Canada, and it was like to the more like English sides of Canada, the more Canadian-y kind of Canada,
British Canadian or whatever,
British Columbia, not the Frenchies. We go to Quebec, and it was just I was like so upset right off the rip because, you know, we go through customs, and the first person we come into, it was pretty late at night when we got in. It was just like, you know, the customs person, and like he started speaking French to us right away, and we responded in English. And immediately this dude was already like, not like sassing us,
really,
but
his tone changed.
Oh yeah, he was all like, stupid Americans. Like, he didn't say it, but that's the vibe I got from him. And I was like, what the hell? Like, I mean, yeah, like, Americans can be pretty dumb, but, like, Jesus, man, like, you're working in customs. You should be, you know, a little more welcoming. But, like, as we were going around, there were so many places we went where, like, people were just so pissed at us for being American and speaking English. Like, a lot of the restaurants we went to, like, if you didn't speak French right off the rip, the waiter would always just immediately flip to this just, like, almost pissy mood, and it's like, dude, come on, like, we're here to ski, we're here on vacation, like, I get it, we're not speaking maybe your first language, and I'm not saying you should be, you know, speaking English to me, but like, come on, man, like, we're not going to treat you any differently because you're from Quebec. But I just, Canada was wild. Canada was a really interesting place to ski, just all the different places I went there, and I want to go back again because, like, I've gotten substantially better and, like, a lot more comfortable with doing crazier things. Since, like, I graduated high school.
You think Canada is more, like, the mountains are more intense? I don't know if that's the right word, but
in some places,
some places,
definitely. Like, the Rockies are pretty nutty up there. But the hardest ski resort I've ever skied at was Jacksonville, Wyoming. It's, like, world renowned and known to be, like, a really crazy ski resort.
What made it so difficult?
It was steep. That was my favorite thing. It was steep as hell. Like, and also there was a lot of places that no matter where you went, when you got to the top of the lift, like, the only way down was pretty hard. Like, there was never really, like, always an easy blue or an easy green that would get you down to the base of the mountain. You always had to take some nutty run and just like that's the fastest I ever went was at Jacksonville, Wyoming. I had taken the tram all the way up to the top. I was gonna ski Corbett's Cool Air, which is the hardest run or hardest labeled run in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
But there wasn't enough snow, so instead I just went the other route again, like around the side.
Okay,
but
gotcha.
it comes off to this part where after you come down like the face where Corbett's Cool Air, so like the trams goes here, and then there's like a little face that comes down. There's a cat track, and then there's this like super steep run that goes down to this like flat run to the base, and I hit like 70 miles per hour, just bombing it. And I remember after like getting to the bottom of this slope, starting to go like onto the green, and just looking to like my right and just seeing trees
just
whipping
blurs.
by, and I felt like my legs getting a little
That's
shaky
awesome.
because like, oh my gosh, going that fast and standing, like it was a long run too, like it wasn't like just a short run like the wall at Holiday Valley where it's just like really steep. Like it was a long steep run, and I just straight up bombed
Those
it.
are the best. You've been out west. You've been way more places than I have. So like the hardest place I've been to is the only time I've been out west, and that was Aspen, Colorado. For Miami
Shout out to
Ski
Miami
Club.
Ski Club.
Yep. Best trip I've ever taken. I love it because around here you got Boston Mills and Brandywine, which is like a little bunny hill. Like it's just part of the rolling plains of Ohio.
Keep going. I'm gonna look at the height.
I went out there, and hardest skiing I've done or snowboarding. It wasn't that hard, but compared to what I'm used to, it was difficult. But that's the fastest I've gone was out there. I hit 55 miles per hour, which that's not nothing to laugh at. So I was happy with that. But that was so much fun. I want to go back out there every year.
Yeah, no, Aspen was. I thought it was really interesting going to such a bougie town as like a college.
Oh yeah.
As a college.
It felt like we were really out of place.
Oh yeah.
Not necessarily like on the mountain, but
remember
like
it was
just,
Gay Week. It was Gay Week
yeah,
when we went there.
yeah.
Dude, there was so much stuff going on too. It was so
It was
hype.
popping.
It was so sick.
That was so much fun.
I that's the first time I had been to Aspen, and like I had always wanted to go to Aspen because of Dumb and Dumber, fantastic movie.
I've seen bits and pieces. I've never seen the full movie.
Basically, Lloyd he gets this girl's briefcase, and then she goes out to Aspen where she lives, and then he goes all the way across the country and gives it to her.
Okay.
But like there was the quote that Jim Carrey made was like, oh Jesus, it was something along the lines of he's like, where the wine flows like water, and like he would just talk about Aspen being this super nice town. And ever since I saw that movie, I always wanted to go there. Then last year when we went, it was just amazing. Like it was hard. Like, did we ever ski Aspen Mountain? I think we did once or twice.
Ajax, right?
I don't think I hit J. I think what was the other one? Buttermilk.
Buttermilk. I went there. I went to Buttermilk. I did Ajax 2 days, I think. I don't think I ever hit Aspen Mountain.
I think.
I can't.
No, wait.
Honestly, I can't remember.
We did ski Aspen.
Did we?
We skied. I think the second day we skied Aspen because remember we walked up the hill and then there was that lift over to the right.
Oh yeah.
That we skied Aspen and Buttermilk were awesome.
But easily the best vacation I've ever been on, because it was like one of the first vacations I've been on with friends, and my parents weren't there. Because like when I go on vacation, it's with my family. I don't really have the money to go just with friends like whenever. So it was a great getaway, especially because ski club is so big. There's so many people. Because how many people went on the trip?
It was like 98.
Yeah.
We had 98 people on the trip. The only thing that kind of sucked though is compared to like a lot of the previous years, our condos are like really separated. So like we couldn't have our bangers with the entire club in one condo like we usually did, which was kind of sucked because like we hyped up the trip the whole time, and there was only like one time where we tried to have everyone over, and it was just people were too far away, and there was too much ice, and there was a massive hill, and that was the only thing that was tough.
Easily best vacation I've been on. Easy second is Chicago. I went to Chicago over Thanksgiving break with two of my roommates and then two of our other friends. So there were 5 of us. Second best trip by far, because we just went out clubbing like the entire time. We were just drinking the entire time, shopping because it was Black Friday. That was so much fun. I loved that.
I think my favorite ski club trip though was when we went to Steamboat my freshman year. I hadn't quite gotten like affiliated with everyone, but I got lucky and I got put into the McMansion, which was with the president and like a bunch of other people who were like pretty significant in the ski club. I'd
Kinda
say
like
at the
an
time.
inner circle.
Yeah, like more like the exec board, and oh my gosh, it was the best trip of my life because I was this freshman who didn't know anyone, and then I just went in there and I blew everyone's mind because they didn't know some of my habits, and then when they found out some of my habits and how far I had taken them, they're like, "Damn, this kid's he knows what he's doing," and and that got me a seat in the car to a set of hot springs, and it was so funny because on the trip there when we were driving, we got stuck on the side of the road, and it was one of the most memorable moments of that trip was me, Jackson, Connor, Ashton, Izzy, and who was the other girl? There was one other girl in our car with us, sitting on the side of the road trying to figure out how to turn on the 4-wheel drive to get up the hill. And we were just sitting there, like, I think we had like a couple beers, and I was just sitting there on the side of the road drinking a beer. And then the bus with all the other kids who were going to the springs drove past us. And they were just like looking at us like, "You suck." And then this dude pulled up out of nowhere. He whipped out of this driveway that was like right by where we were stuck on this sick ass snowmobile and just ripped up the road with the treads. Dude, it was.
That's so cool.
And then we managed to figure out how to get all the way up, and those springs were amazing. Did you ever see the picture of them?
I don't think so.
I wish I could put it up somehow, but it was so sick. Definitely, that was just an amazing trip, and I met so many people that I would consider good friends from that, and it was just nuts.
Yeah, I feel like my trips with my friends are on a different scale than ones with my family. Like, we went to Hawaii, I think 4 years ago at this point. That was an amazing trip.
Look at that. Doesn't that not even look real?
That is crazy. Yeah. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, dude. I wish I could show a picture of this. Maybe we can clip something in for the recorded version.
Yeah, maybe throw it in on the YouTube.
But yeah, trips with friends are so much better. Just because, you literally are on your time schedule. Because every time you go on a vacation with your parents, usually there's the agenda that they want to do.
And there's the rules. Like, my parents are kind of strict. So, like, before I turned 21, they did not want me drinking at all.
Yeah, my parents are the same.
When I'm on vacation with my friends, the goal is to drink.
Yup. My parents weren't very cool with me, like, drinking, like, at bars and stuff. They never did that for me because, like, we were out in public. But, like, at, like, the beach and stuff, I definitely drank when I was at the beach because, like, in Ohio, you're legally allowed to drink at whatever age it is if your parents have consent and they give it to you. And I mean, my parents are never gonna just sit there and get me hammered. Like, no, they would always let me have a couple drinks, and it was great. Like, I really, it made me feel much more like an adult and part of the situation, not like I was like at the fucking kids table at any other like family gathering or vacation like that. Like,
see, for me, awesome. It felt like a switch was flipped when I turned 21. They're like, okay, you're kind of an adult now. You live under our roof, but you're kind of an adult now.
Oh my God.
France, Spain, Sweden, Norway, Austria,
Brazil.
Holy shit.
We got a world traveler over here.
That's great. Favorite place. Of that list, do you have a favorite? Can you even choose a favorite from so many places?
Yes, sir. What is it?
All right, I'm going to go take a bathroom break real quick.
Cyprus. Where is that?
Yes, that's all. I'm curious.
I just don't know geography whatsoever.
Yeah, I am geographically challenged. Country in the Middle East.
Middle East.
Yes.
I would love to go there one day. I would love to see like
Lebanon, Turkey,
under Greece, kinda.
Yeah, kind of that area. That's the one thing I really like about like other like European countries. They're smaller, and it's like, I think like England and stuff, you can go from all these different cities and countries and stuff, just like it's a 4-hour drive from top to bottom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it's so cool.
It's not like America where
It's
like,
kind
you
of
never
like
leave the country.
It's kind of like we have our states.
Yeah.
But even our states are fucking massive.
Yeah, and our states are like you don't really see that much variability in like states that are close to each other. Like you have you have your.
Okay, maybe I like I said, geographically challenged. But you live in Sweden. That's awesome. My one of my best friends, her boyfriend is from Sweden, and England is in the middle of the sea. Maybe I'm just thinking of. Maybe I'm just thinking.
You're just
of
getting
Europe.
roasted.
Maybe
Yeah,
I'm
you're
just
thinking of Europe. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, one of my best friends, Kaylin, her boyfriend is from Sweden. Pretty sure they're getting married.
Really?
Yeah, I love her, and they're super happy together. But
yeah, go take your piss.
Yes, bathroom break.
Yeah, but wow. Jesus. Oh, dude, if you're smoking a cigarette, I don't want to smoke a cigarette.
I'll leave it out there for you.
I don't want to smoke a whole ciggy though.
No, I'll juice it and I'll leave it, and then we can
give me like half of it.
Yeah.
4-hour drive. Yeah, but one place that I want to visit for sure is like Egypt. I want to see the pyramids. Like I have a really weird bucket list. Like some of the things on my bucket list, you would probably be like, why the fuck is that on your bucket list? But I want to climb the pyramids of Egypt. I know that's definitely illegal and they don't let people do that. But ever since I saw the movie Jumper, I don't know. I want to. That would be so sick. He had a picnic on top of the pyramids. Like, what? Awesome. I also want to get struck by lightning and get a scar. I know it probably caused some serious damage, but like, if you've ever seen lightning scars that aren't like on someone's face or like in a place that's like incredibly important, but like if I ever had a lightning scar, I'd want it to go down my spine because it just literally looks like a little bolt of lightning that like travels down all your neurons and like scars them. So sick. It's probably horrible for you and might paralyze you and cause some serious nerve damage, but I think it would look awesome. Also, want to get bit by a shark. That's something that most people look at me and they're like, you're an idiot. But I mean, it's a story. I love telling stories. That's like one of my favorite things to do, is just talk to people and tell them what I've been through. And just imagine, you walk up to someone new, you're talking to them for the first time, and then like you might notice they have like a scar on their leg, and let's say like big shark be like right in the back of your calf. Just that's what I would like. Have like a huge shark bite right here. Hopefully it didn't like damage my muscle or like severely injure me, but those are 3 little things on my bucket list that I want to get done. Also, I want to live through every natural disaster under some circumstances. Kind of screwed up. A little bit of an adrenaline junkie, but I love it. And no, we don't have geography in school. Like, we probably learned a little bit about it, but like barely anything. Yeah, I know my bucket list is pretty, seems like it's a lot of, it's not self-harm because like I wouldn't force a shark to bite me or force lightning to strike me by like holding up a metal pole, but like I definitely think that those would be 2 gnarly scars and gnarly stories to tell, because like I don't think you could top that. You couldn't top that, especially if like you're at a bar. Like, no way. It's probably smart. Like, I think the American educational system is a little flawed because it's very much so trying to push every kid into the societal norms of going to further education such as college, and they don't really teach much of the trades. And I mean, at some schools they have like a second second school that you could go to learn a particular trade, but it's just, I don't know. I think the American educational system is very much so based off of societal norms, and we're unwilling to change that, and we want everyone to go to college and be these cookie cutter people who do the exact same jobs. They're just cogs in the machine. I would love it to be changed, to let people follow their passion more, because that's like what people are going to be successful in. It's something that they're passionate about and doesn't feel like work to them. But I'm just a 21-year-old college student who doesn't have a say in how the education changes in our country. But I think it would be great if we focused more on passion than societal cookie cutter norms.
Came back to a serious topic.
Oh, I mean, like I told them about my bucket list about wanting to get bit by a shark, struck by lightning, and climb the pyramids.
It's a good bucket list. Bit by a shark is definitely one of mine. It's such a good bucket list item. But it's outside. But do I know what the biggest country is? I should know this off. It's yeah, it's Russia. That's what I was gonna say. Like dead ass, that's what I was gonna say. But we do have geography in school. It's not heavily focused on though, I would say. I don't know. I also didn't pay too much attention in high school to certain things. I paid attention to what I liked, and what I liked. I'm a computer science major, so I don't know. I wasn't necessarily focused on geography and history and all that. I don't know. That's more of a personal preference of mine though, compared to other people. But back to the bucket list. Getting bit by a shark, great bucket list item, but only if you don't lose like any limbs or any functionality from that happening. Like one on the leg right here would be sick. Like just having the jaw outline be a great kind of scar to have. Cause like I have scars. I have one here from when I hit my head on the corner of a coffee table. I've got one right here on my hand from when I sliced my hand open cutting a pumpkin. Those aren't cool. Those aren't cool scars. I feel like a shark bite's a cool scar. And then I can't remember if Richie mentioned getting struck by lightning. I don't know if that's on my bucket list though. That's I don't see any benefits from that. I mean, there's no benefits to getting bit by a shark. I'm trying to think other bucket list items. Skydiving, but I feel like that's just super basic. I feel like that's on most people's bucket lists. Watch it. All right, that is that's not the clip. That's just the create. But let's see. I think I can get to clips from here. I want to say I can.
Awfully quiet, guy.
Huh?
Awfully quiet.
I'm watching a clip.
Clip.
Yeah.
Of what?
But do I know what the biggest country is? I should know this off. It's Don't make fun of me.
Clip it.
It has been clipped. I mean, I would have gotten there. It wasn't off the top of my head kind of thing. But I was gonna go somewhere with this.
Sponsored? Yeah, we got a sponsor by Arizona. They came through.
Yeah, no, we're not
big
sponsored.
time.
I've been shitting on Bang this entire time.
I wish we were sponsored.
What's the least populated country? Let's brainstorm.
Antarctica.
Antarctica?
Bam. Yeah, it's because it's a country and a continent. Am I right? Leo, please tell me I'm right.
Dude, we're just getting dogged on for our...
What?
No, that's
there's
not
more. Wait, where there's less people than in
least,
Antarctica?
Least populated.
There's no way there's more or less people on any other country. What is it? What's the answer? I am shocked that it's not Antarctica.
But I'm just geographically challenged. I'm not trying to make excuses, but like I kind of am. Like I just struggle.
The Vatican. There's more.
Vatican. Oh.
All right.
Okay.
I'm doing a little fact check here. Let's look this up.
No, that sounds right.
Come
on, give me some more general knowledge questions. I mean, I guess this is kind of general knowledge, but
It is. What? I could have sworn. Okay. Is Antarctica a country? Is Antarctica a country? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, we figured you were gonna be right on that, Leo.
Antarctica, blah 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 blah. I guess it's not. I don't know if it's a country because it doesn't really have like a governing body or like a constant
You're 14,
population.
Leo. I mean,
hey,
I bet I can ask you some programming and computer science questions.
Ooh, yeah.
What's Obama's last name?
You are so dumb if you don't get this.
Hussein.
You are so...
I know it's Obama. I know it's Obama.
Hit him
go
with some
ahead.
computer science, dude. Hit him a question that's like general knowledge.
General knowledge. I don't know. I guess that's kind of hard because there's so many different. What's like a general knowledge one? What is the time complexity of binary sort? Your dad's a programmer? Oh shit!
You're about to get fucking work.
He's got his dad over his shoulder. Or I guess heap sort would be a. Well, I'll change it up. What is the time complexity of a let's do a merge sort algorithm. What's the time complexity of merge sort?
Dude, I don't know shit about computers.
Worst case.
He's about to pull an answer out, and I hope he comes out here with like the right answer. You never know.
O log n log n? That sounds about right. If I'm gonna be honest, I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if that's
You're just trying. Okay, you're out here trying to flex your knowledge, and you're not even. Shame.
Whatever. I know how to program very well. But yes, n log n is correct.
Question for Leo: how did you stumble upon our podcast? Did it just?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm curious.
How did you see us? Or what made you want to look into our podcast?
Yeah, what made you stay too? Just poll in the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Then we can move on to another topic.
Yeah, I was thinking of.
Anything specific?
I don't know. I didn't really. I mean, we talked about our injuries and vacation.
Injuries, vacations.
The lowest views.
Hey, you're not being rude. That is the truth. We are on probably close to the bottom.
Yeah.
But hey, this is our third ever stream, and it's fun. Plus, this isn't gonna be our main platform for the podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube, Omit Personal Bias, and also follow our Instagram at Omit Personal Bias for more content.
We also have a Snapchat. We haven't really done too much with it yet, but like, if we have people following the Snapchat, I'll probably do some little things here and there. Like, if I ever find anything crazy, interesting in the media, I'll throw it up there if there's any topics like that. Or if you ever wanted to send us topic ideas or any feedback or anything, just please let us know.
Open
like
to anything.
I want to be able to have an open discourse with the people that are directly in front of me and with my audience, because
that's the whole point.
It's important. Talking is so great. It's one of the most human things is our ability to communicate.
Start a Discord, and you gave us a shout out. Yes, much appreciated on that. Start a Discord. We've talked about that a little bit. I think that is I feel like that's one of the easiest ways to communicate, especially with Twitch. Twitch is very much like your communities are based around Discord almost. Because like I've had many Discord servers just like for me and my friends, but I do think that is a very good idea of another platform to keep communicated with.
Yeah, no, the first stream we did, I think we also had another Swedish viewer, right? Or was he Irish?
Irish. He was Irish.
Yeah, we had an Irish guy watching our first stream. We were talking to him. It was pretty. That first stream we talked a lot about space and SpaceX and what Elon Musk is doing with his corporation, and it's really nutty. Have you seen
Tesla's stock?
No, I have not.
Tesla's stock is up to nearly $1,400. Aftermarket, it's at $1,432. Which is crazy, because June 24th.
Didn't it plummet pretty hard after
June 24th? It didn't plummet that much, but it was around $960 June 24th,
And
which
it's up
is
to
like
14.
11 days ago, something like that. It's not long, and it's skyrocketed.
You know, I think Elon Musk is a really, really smart, forward-looking kind of person, because
Yeah.
when you look at his ideas, they've all been, you know, they've been original ideas in the fact that like he's made them his own.
Yeah.
But they've all been, you know, how to make life either more enjoyable with like the Tesla car.
They've all been about the progression of humanity, it
Yeah.
feels like. He's a little bit of a nut job, which I feel like
Yeah, you need people like that to come up with the crazy ideas.
He's like a mad scientist. I feel like he's going to be almost like our Tony Stark.
Yeah, that's a really good.
Like, I feel like he gives me very much that kind of vibe. Like, that's kind of his mentality.
Yeah, but he's got his Tesla organization, which is changing up the way we drive and the way you consider what your car can do. He's got the SpaceX organization, which is changing up the commercialization of low Earth orbit, which is crazy because the reusability he's, you know, engineered with his Falcon 9 rockets and all the other different pieces and parts. And then he also has like the Boring Company, which is still like really beginning early stages in the past couple of years, and it's like an underground tunnel system used to like really open or make traffic a lot less like congested, because instead of, you know, having bridges build up and streets on top of like a public area, you're putting them underneath, so all the flow is underground, out of the way of all the other you know, people and population that's going to be up above in that business district or whatever it is. And then he also has one of his more recent programs that he started that I think is really going to change just the entire world is the Starlink program. Real quick, like run of it. It's like it's supposed to be an array of like 1,200 satellites that orbit the Earth at around 340 kilometers, and they make an array that will cover the majority of the populated portion of the Earth, that will provide some of the lowest latency possible for orbital satellites. And also, because of that array, you can get that really or relatively high speed internet almost or pretty much anywhere in the populated portion of the Earth.
Which I think is something that not a lot of people, like, sure, we have it in our more developed countries and all that, but that's something a lot of the world doesn't have. And it's such an integral part of society and how we interact together nowadays.
Because we become so globalized.
Exactly.
Especially with the internet, because we have fiber optics connecting every inch of, you know, the more first world countries, and it allows people outside to give their 2 cents and also you know, address issues from the outside fact. And it's just it's so awesome how far we've come as a species. And one thing that I recently thought in like the past couple of months is, you know, it's a world's first. The globalized world like we are today with the internet is the first time in the world humanity is being connected in such like a large scale that it's really allowed the information that everyone knows to be put together in order to like solve almost any problem that can humanly be solved. So it's amazing what the internet can do. And with the Starlink program, it's going to allow portions of the Earth that haven't had that capability to give their 2 cents, and also allow people who aren't there to use their ability to influence the areas that are getting globalized for the first time, which is going to be amazing, because more people are going to more people are going to allow to do what they want and give their say, and have more progression.
Which just means more knowledge given to the interconnected world. Like, there's so much we can learn from these people who don't necessarily have the resources to be as connected as we are. And I don't mean to backtrack too much, but going back to like the Falcon 9 and everything, that is so cool how the reusable rockets have become such a feasible and obtainable thing. Because like I watched a video recently, like what they used to do is when they would send their rockets into space, they would come back down and they'd retrieve them from the ocean, and they would reuse the rockets, but they'd have to go through months of
it's almost
repair.
Years.
At some point,
the turnaround rate was just
the turnaround
so
rate
long.
and the expense, and it almost is a new rocket because of how much stuff you have to replace due to the salt water and all the corrosion and just the checks you have to do. And with the new rocket, how one, it can land by itself and doesn't have to
autonomous.
Yeah, exactly, and it doesn't have to deal with that process of going through the refurbishment from all that corrosion from the salt water and everything. It's so much more reusable. It's like an actual reusable rocket.
It's not just taking the bits and pieces that fell from orbit back to the planet and repurposing them.
Because like with NASA's rockets, you get I'm gonna say 10% back of like the original rocket that you can reuse. And with these new rockets, it's almost like you only have to replace 10%.
You just gotta you know, refuel it, adjust probably the landing gear and probably the paint, because even a paint chip traveling at whatever it is, 17,000 miles per hour can put a hole in a rocket and put a hole in steel.
You just have to do your inspections, but the turnaround time and the cost reduction is crazy.
Massive. And now since SpaceX is kind of leading the way, and they have been leading the way.
And since they finally achieved what their goal was, and people realize it's feasible,
more companies are saying, hey, you should launch my satellite into Earth or low Earth orbit.
Yeah, and more companies are like, we can get in on this and be a part of the competition, because competition is the best thing for an industry.
First YouTube sub. Shout out to Leo. Thank you.
Leo. Yeah. We aren't even. I'm not even.
I didn't sub to my. That's almost cheating.
That's a little sus. Appreciate it though.
But yeah, no, it's this the commercialization of space is going to absolutely blow up in our lifetime.
Yeah.
We are going to see people in our lifetime land on the moon. We're going to see a space station that orbits the moon. We're going to see people land on Mars.
Yeah.
We're going to see space become not just a place for research, but a place for industry, exploration, and colonization, possibly.
I've always heard this saying, like, growing up and stuff, like, we were born at the wrong time, because we weren't born early enough to be able to explore the Earth and the globe, but we weren't born late enough to where we could witness space exploration and space travel. And I feel like the jumps we're making and how quickly we are making those jumps, we're getting to the point where it is feasible for us to be able to witness the exploration and the discovery of space. Obviously not a lot of it, because space is infinite.
Endless, practically.
But we get to what we've grown up learning about, like Mars and all of that. We're going to be able to witness the colonization. I shouldn't say colonization, because that implies more like having people settled,
stay
on
there
those other
and make a human presence.
Yeah,
on
we
other
get
planet.
to witness the industrialization of space, which is so cool.
Yeah, people don't really think too much about like industrial, like people don't think about anything being manufactured or made in space. But with low gravity and microgravity, you can create some really amazing things in low Earth orbit.
Give me some examples.
So, on the space station, I'm not sure how many tests are up there currently that are looking to create products and make things, but the two that I know of, there's a company that sent up a experiment to create fiber optic cables in space. And since there's such a low gravity, the crystallization of the glass itself, which is used for the fiber optics, is so incredibly low that it allows data to flow at such an incredible speed and without having interruptions. So it like allows you to have amazing fiber optic cables. That's currently being made in space, and it's just mainly testing it to make sure that they can get those
preliminary stages.
But they found out that they can create the best fiber optics in that low gravity. And also, when it comes to 3D printing organs, human organs, when you're in space, you don't have to have the it's like this like base layer that you make around the organ itself that you eventually have to take out. You can just create it in that 0G space.
Okay, yeah, you don't need the structure.
Yeah, you don't need the physical
the rest of it.
Yeah, but those are two projects that are currently going on, or they might, I'm not sure if they're still going on, but there were two projects that were up in the space station that were being tested and have had incredible results. But I mean, it's still so expensive to send anything up to the space station.
Yeah.
And just recently, SpaceX, for the first time on April 27th, sent two NASA astronauts up to the International Space Station, and it was the first manned launch from American soil in 9 years. And
it was such a cool launch to watch.
It was, and I mean, a lot of people who I introduced to it and said, hey, you should watch it, they were like, oh, it was really anticlimactic. And I'm like, what did you expect to happen? It's a rocket launch. You light that candle and you go.
Rocket go boom. Oh, we're in space. On the space. It's a long process. But what was I gonna say? Isn't it? This may be an older number, but I've heard many a times that it's like $10,000 per pound.
Yeah, it's like $10,000 or $20,000 a pound. The one thing that the one way that they would always like quantify it was they'd say like, yeah, if you wanted to send a water bottle to space, it's gonna cost you like $20,000 or something along those lines. Which is like, you think about it and you're like, a water bottle, that's not that much water, and you need water in space, but it just costs so much to send anything up there with the current technology, especially from NASA. I'm not saying NASA is an incredibly advanced, space organization, but like from what they were doing, they didn't really have the reusable rockets. They were still dependent on Russia and the Soyuz program.
Which is what made it so expensive.
Exactly. But now, since we're more homegrown and organic, with SpaceX being involved with NASA, it's just really dropping those prices down and making it possible for like things to be sent up in space for a cheaper price. So,
quick side note, kind of on topic, actually very on topic. So this is an article from 2008 from NASA. At 2008, $10,000 to put a pound of payload into Earth's orbit. NASA's goal is to get that cost to hundreds of dollars within 25 years and tens of dollars per pound within 40 years. And then this is more recent. This is from, let's see, is this, okay, yeah, this is from SpaceX. SpaceX sent 5,000 pounds of fresh cargo to the International Space Station, which is crazy.
Jesus Christ.
I'm trying to find any exact numbers for more modern day. I don't know how much it would have changed over that time.
I mean, it's changed pretty significantly because SpaceX has like kind of finally gotten to that worldwide stage. But another little random fact: the day that NASA launched astronauts into space, it was the first time in human history that there was 3 rocket launches to space in a span of 24 hours. One was done by America, one was done by Japan, and then there was another one done by I forget what the third country was, but yeah, 24 hours, and then there was 3 rocket launches that send something into orbit.
It's so cool how like space exploration is such a global endeavor, and it's very much about working together as opposed to like working against each other.
Yeah, like
obviously
during
there was like
Cold War,
yeah,
the space
there was
race
the space race and everything, but it's still, the goal was to get humans into space on the moon, which was accomplished. And kind of going back to competition, competition's a good thing. It encourages you to work harder, and it challenges you.
I think, ever since the Cold War pretty much ended, it just made us work together as a society a lot better.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for coming, Leo.
Yeah, for sure.
Talking.
Like we have said before, we stream 2 to 3 days a week here on Twitch, and then we also upload stuff to our YouTube. So, hopefully we'll see you again during a stream. Thanks for stopping by, man. Great talking and chatting with you.
Thanks for making us look like geographic idiots.
Yes,
it was humbling, very humbling. Gosh. Yeah, Joe said he's gonna be over soon. I think he left like 8 minutes ago, so he'll probably pull up here in a little bit. He's got some nutty injury stories because he's done some nutty stuff.
That'd be awesome if you could get some mods to set it up. We can discuss this after stream or something. We'll figure something out.
Keep in touch.
Yeah, keep in touch.
Man, I'm trying to think, man. Like, we came into this with
Add you on Discord. All right. What's your Discord name?
He put it up there. It's
Oh, did he?
Yeah. If you scroll up a little bit.
Okay.
think that's his Discord.
Oh yeah, that is his Discord. Cool.
All right, big bet. Oh man, I'm trying to think, man. What? I don't know. I'm blanking.
You're blanking?
Yeah.
What are you blanking on?
I was trying to think of like something else to talk about. Like, hey Gary, is there anything you want to hear us talk about? You got any topics for us? Anyone else in the
Yeah,
chat?
any
Throw something up there.
chat suggestions? Love a good little suggestion. I'm trying to think. We can go off our list. Let's see. School. Any good school stories you can think of off the top of your head?
Like what kind of school? Like high school?
Like college.
College?
We could talk about drugs and the legalization.
Video games or VR?
Let's see.
Actually, wait, no. Well, we should talk about online schooling with with this COVID crisis.
Okay. Yeah.
So, recently, a lot of schools got closed down due to COVID, and a lot of them they got closed down in the fashion where there was no longer like in-person lectures and stuff, and a lot of people and a lot of the friends that I knew were like a big fan of it because they had material that was easy for them to understand and they could follow up with and do well in it. But I mean, in my case, once there was online schooling, I felt like I was getting gypped in my education. I learned little to nothing, and I was just really upset with the fact that the university that I had chosen to go to and had promised to give me an education failed me once they had any sort of adversity face them. Like, rather than really, I mean, like there was one class that I had where like my professors really tried to make something out of it and make this online course feel somewhat normal, but it was too tough. I could never force myself to learn the material, and I really struggled this last semester trying to like learn these theories and all this stuff over online
I feel
schooling.
like it's hard to necessarily put that all on the university because obviously
they couldn't do anything else.
This was going to happen. They tried to adapt as they could, and obviously certain things haven't been handled the best way in regards to school, but other things have been handled well. And I think given the circumstances, the transition from in-person classes to online classes and lectures was as good as it could have been, given they had a week to convert, teachers had a week to convert in-person material to online and stuff. But I do agree that it wasn't
Seamless.
nearly as close to the level of education that would have happened if we were in person, because I'm very much a hands-on, in-person kind of learner. One, because it kind of gives me those deadlines or kind of that objective.
Yeah, like you
to
were
follow.
required to be. You're required to do things. They're not putting as much on you, in the fact that you have to do it regarding, like.
There was very much I don't know if back and forth is the right way to say it, but there was very much that connection. Interaction and that face-to-face connection that I feel like you totally miss out on with online classes. Because most of my classes, you'd have a lecture and then a lab. That's how it was for my classes specifically. So a lecture's a lecture. You're in a room with 100 other people, whatever it is. But missing out on that in-person lab session where you can call the teacher over and be like, hey,
help me.
Question about this, and they can help you in person. You just totally miss out on that, because what happened with a lot of my classes is I'm a computer science major. So what happened is we'd have our lectures, they'd share their screen and go through the lecture like normal, go through the slides, whatever. Not really much changed other than we weren't in person. But with labs, it would be you'd be in a call with the 25 people in your lab or whatever, and what they would do is they would give you the lab, and most of the time it wasn't even like a synchronous meeting. It was asynchronous. So you'd be assigned the lab. It'd be due like Sunday. There'd be no specific class time to meet for that lab. It was more just office hours. They gave you more options for office hours as opposed to that set time for a lab, which totally messed with me because I would say I'm reliant on the labs and like that in-person interaction and that kind of just group setting, because you totally lose out on the group setting when it's those asynchronous meeting times. So that was my big gripe with the whole online thing.
Yeah, I'm a communications and psychology double major, and a lot of my classes require a lot of like group work and like working, you know, on like theoretical stuff, not just like terms and you know, things like that, formulas.
Yeah.
It's very much so you need to have the understanding of the theory before you can apply anything. And my biggest issue was 2 of my classes, my professors did absolutely nothing to make their videos like interactive or easy to follow. Like, it wasn't them following a PowerPoint. It was literally just them recording their face talking about a topic. And that really, really harmed my, you know, education, because I need that PowerPoint.
Yeah,
and I mean,
for sure.
A lot of the professors that had those videos, they weren't like very clear, and they weren't like yes, you could slow it, you could pause it and rewind it and re-go through everything to make sure you understood the topics. But whenever I would try and do that, it was just, there was too many things that there's too many times I had to stop and go back to try and understand something so small. And those 2 classes were such a struggle for me, because I didn't learn anything. The material wasn't good enough for a person with my, you know, focus capabilities.
Your learning style.
And it really bugged me that although I, you know, emailed these professors pretty frequently and told them how I was struggling with the material they were providing, I never really got any, I mean, I'm not saying I deserve an accommodation, but like, I never got any way to help me promote my learning experience with, you know, the case that, or with the circumstances that we were in. And it just, I felt really
there's a disconnect when you're doing it solely online.
But the one class that I did have that had like a required lecture time, it was a persuasion theory class, and I think that was pretty well done, because my professor had particular times you had to meet every week, and you had to work with a group as well, like you would when you were in school, and you still had to do all the readings and everything, because you were quizzed and tested on it regularly.
It was way more structured. Right?
That structure. I love having structure in my education.
I need that structure.
Exactly.
That structure is how I learn. It's a great additive to everything I need to learn. Because switching to online made it feel like there was no structure. It was just kind of do your own thing. And I don't think that, for me personally, I don't think that's how learning should be done. I think you need that structure and that in-person communication.
Because I remember, like, the first day that we learned that classes were going to be online for the rest of the semester, like, we had a party planned, and it was like, we were all hyped. We're like, yes, like, no more class. But then, like, you know, after, like, you know, we got to the party and we all kind of sat down, it was just like, oh, wow. This is actually happening, and we're going to have an online college experience for the last 3 months of the semester. And it was just, it was a crazy flow of emotions through the entire experience, because COVID literally came out of nowhere and slapped the world around, and then we're just in the aftermath now.
And the worst part is we were in the middle of a semester, so there's so many unknowns. You hear one thing from one person, totally opposite from a different person. It's a little bit different. It's not too much different, but it's a little bit different, kind of starting a semester and knowing going into it that it's going to be all online, but it still sucks.
I just wish that COVID never really hit as hard as it did in the fashion of shutting the economy down and putting people in lockdowns and keeping everyone home, because human interaction is a pretty integral part of every person's life, I'd like to think. And once you take that away, it makes people feel so unconnected that they might act irrationally or just deal with issues that they've never had to deal with before. Because for a lot of these people, like when you look at like the suicide rate during the beginning of the COVID stage and the domestic abuse, all those sort of things were just skyrocketing because people never really
you
left
aren't
their
as
home.
connected with the people you rely on.
Exactly. You didn't really have that support group like you did before. And I hope that by the end of the year that, you know, we can at least have some semblance of reality given back to us.
I think we're slowly getting there. It kind of feels like every other day my mind's changing on that, but today's a good day. I'm feeling positive today.
Hell yeah.
So it feels like we're slowly getting back to that resemblance of reality.
And I know before, and camera just died.
Yup. Don't worry, we're still here.
We're still here. We're going to get a black screen for a couple seconds, maybe like 35, 40 seconds. But yeah, COVID's crazy. I hope we can get through this time and we recover a semblance of reality or a normal reality by the end of the year, because I can't put up with this. I cannot put up with this for another 6 months to a year. I'm going nuts, like absolutely crazy, and I've had to address so many issues that I never thought I'd have to address, just because I've had so much time to think about things on my own and just let my mind race in such a fashion where I can't talk to that support group like I had at school. So it put me in a dark place. But I mean, I've come back around, repurposed myself, and I'm a lot better off. But I mean, I still worry quite a bit just about the state of, COVID, because if you look at any mainstream news source, you're gonna see that COVID cases are kind of having like a second surge, and we're like surpassing where we were originally for like hospitalization and cases. And it's just it seems as if we were doing a good job, and then
we always knew there was going to be a second wave. I mean, the craziest thing to me, the absolute craziest thing, is people who say like forcing me to wear a mask violates my rights.
No.
Or like I can't breathe because
there's a piece
have
of
a mask,
cloth in front of you.
Yeah, like that. Those people are so dumb, and
It's
I don't
just
want to get
pure-
too
it's
into the whole
pure-
Corona debate or all the hot topics that are going on. I don't want to get too into that. But it's just look out for your fellow human beings.
Don't be selfish.
Yeah,
you might not die from it, but you can get exposed to someone who's
and
going to know
wearing a mask
someone.
is so simple. It doesn't impact.
It's not cumbersome.
Yeah, exactly.
At first, when they were trying to like really make masks political, like I had a side, but then I saw how politicized the mask could be, and I was like, this is dumb. I'm just gonna wear my mask because I want to be safe, and I want my parents and the people I know to be safe and not have
All right, let's move on from this Corona talk.
Fuck COVID. Bunch of bullshit. That's what it is.
Weird. Yeah. Fuck that. What's a good topic? Let's do a candy tier list.
Ooh.
Give me your S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier candies. And
are we counting chocolate?
You know what? Let's do.
Are we talking candy or sweets? Because
let's
talking
just do sweets.
All right.
Sweets. So let's do amazing, good, neutral, and dog shit. Okay. Yo, what's up, wild boss?
But okay, so
here, wait. Let me get a tier list.
Just to write it down.
Maker. Yes.
So to start, my favorite candy is I don't think it's like it's never really like a particular brand, but sour gummy worms slap so hard, and especially the ones that are like high quality enough to where like each particular side.
Here's a pre-made candy tier list. So this will kind of forgot your computer was there. So I know y'all can't see this, but we'll list everything out. So
S tier. What? You could just throw it up there?
It's got all these.
That's so nutty.
So let's start with Sour Patch. Where does Sour Patch fall for you?
Sour Patch is pretty high up there. I'd probably put it at B tier though, because like you can only eat so much Sour Patch before like your mouth starts burning.
Yeah, no, you definitely get like that pain. I would say Sour Patch. Yeah, I agree with B tier because it's not something I could eat all day long without ever stopping, but it is something I could eat for a good amount of time.
Fucking candy, dude.
All right, let's do Fun Dip. Fun Dip is easy for me. I know where this lies right away.
Where are you throwing that?
S tier.
Really?
Fun Dip is an S tier 100%.
I always hated. Well, I didn't hate Fun Dip, but I didn't like the chalky ass stick that they gave you.
That's the best fucking part.
Dude, it was just...
Dude, the stick is the best part.
It tasted like you were eating chalk.
It tasted like those candy cigarettes.
Okay, it did taste like candy cigarettes.
This stick is the best part of Fun Dip. I would just pour the sugar in my mouth so I could just get done with that faster to eat the stick.
Did you crunch it? You just chew it up?
Well, you gotta like lick it a little bit so it's
Get
wet.
it a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, and then you just go for it.
I don't know if I'd put it at S tier, but I mean...
It's definitely S tier for me. What is it for you?
I'd probably put it pretty low, to be honest.
Sour Patch does hurt the tongue, what boss? Pretty low?
Yeah, I like Fun Dip, but like, it never tickled my fancy. I never went out of my way to ever get Fun Dip. I always like got it for Valentine's Day in like elementary school, and then I would eat it.
Fun Dip's S tier for me, but you're saying it's like C?
We could throw it in B though. C.
C. Okay, we'll do this based off of yours. But
dude, have you ever had the 1,000 or 100 grand? Those things.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a
100 grands just sound like an old people candy.
It's definitely like an old person candy, but the fact that they have like the Crispies in them, and then they have the caramel and the nougat. Yeah, dude.
So they're kind of like Crunch Bars.
Yeah, I would put that A tier.
A tier. I would say Crunch Bars. Crunch Bars are S tier for me. I could eat those all day long.
Yeah, I could throw a Crunch Bar S tier. Kit Kat's S tier.
Yes.
Snickers is S tier.
Snickers is like A tier for me. It's
Really?
good, but not an all day kind of thing.
Well, I mean, like I can't really eat candy all day.
Yeah.
Mike and Ike S tier. Mike and Ike is one of my favorite candies.
Snickers will put A.
Yeah,
or
Snickers is A.
Okay.
Mike and Ike S tier, baby.
Mike and Ike is D tier for me.
Really?
Yeah, they're not bad, but they're better. Like how would you even describe Mike and Ike's?
The reason I liked Mike and Ike's is because like you get a bunch of little small pieces of candy, so like you could pace it out a lot more, and they always had.
But
like,
I feel
really
like I'd rather have like
flavors.
jelly beans instead of Mike and Ike's.
Ew. I didn't like Jelly Bellies. Jelly Bellies were a little...
Jelly Bellies were good.
They had too many funky flavors.
We'll put it S tier because you think it's S tier. You seem very strong about that.
Starburst? I'd throw those at the A tier.
Starburst? Where do you see Starburst?
Damn.
Yeah. A tier. A tier is very very Twix.
Twix.
I know
is
where
A
this is
tier
going.
for me.
Twix is S tier for me. I love the crunch.
I feel like whenever I get a Twix bar, it's always like a shot in the dark because you're either gonna get like that crispy fresh one that like crunch is nice and isn't like
I've never
too
had
old.
a bad Twix bar. Maybe I just like them so much.
I've definitely had Twix bars that have been not like stale,
but
they're just like older and
yeah.
you can tell that like they're not as crispy and fresh.
I think the marketing they did with left Twix versus right Twix,
that was
great.
So
smart. And like remember when Mike and Ike broke up and it was Mike or Ike?
That was another good one.
It's funny how companies like fight with each other, which I think is a great marketing ploy.
Ooh. Jolly Rancher.
Jolly Rancher.
S tier.
Jolly Rancher, really. Jolly Rancher is like a C tier for me. I can have like one or two, but they're good. Don't get me wrong. It's just not an all day kind of thing for me.
But like, who the fuck eats candy all day? What
if I had the stomach, if I could eat candy all day, no consequences. Is it a candy I would feel comfortable? Like the repetitive taste of it. Could I handle that? That's kind of what I determine as like S tier.
Oh, I was just going off of purely like I like this for its taste. It tastes the best. Not I could consume an absurd amount of this because
See, like Jolly Ranchers taste great.
You can't really eat a lot of
that's not something I would want to like eat all day. So that's kind of how I'm viewing this tier list.
Right side or left side for Twix?
My right or left side?
Wasn't one of the sides like more caramely and one more cookie? Something along those lines?
I think that was just a marketing ploy. I couldn't tell you for sure.
Was there any difference?
I don't think there was any difference at all. My instinct is left side.
Bam. Ooh, I'm gonna have to go with the right side, baby.
I think left side is my instinct. I couldn't tell you for sure, to be honest, though.
Twix has got us all fucked up, dude.
Yeah.
Milky Way is A tier. I love me Milky Way.
Did we forget to put one on? Where are Jolly Ranchers?
Jolly Rancher.
So what? You say S tier?
I said A tier.
You said
I'm
A,
thinking A now.
and I'm thinking C. So let's go in the middle.
I'm
on
down
B.
with it. Gushers.
Easy
S tier.
S.
S tier.
Easy
No question.
S. Easy S.
Reese's S tier.
Reese's, yes.
Andy's
S tier.
Mints S tier.
Andy's Mints.
Have you ever had those? You know what those are?
I don't like mint chocolate.
Oh.
I don't like mint chocolate. So that's a D tier for me solely because I don't like it.
Throw it in a B then.
Throw it in a B. All right, let's see. Peeps, D. If there's,
I like Peeps during Easter. Only Easter.
if there's below D, that's where Peeps is going.
Jesus.
It belongs 6 feet under,
F.
never to be served to
My
anybody.
God.
I do
Peeps-
not like Peeps.
They're pretty
at
funky.
all.
They're definitely
I
funky.
do not like them.
I'm more of a
all.
candy guy than a chocolate guy, to be honest. But like, I
Yeah.
can appreciate some chocolate.
Peeps
There's
aren't-
also way too many candies up here,
we
bro.
won't go through all of them.
Lifesavers, the
Peeps,
gummy Lifesavers.
I'm putting Peeps at D. I'm
throw it in.
overriding.
They're not. They're not
Candy
that great.
corn, A. Candy corn is tasty.
But candy corn's one of those things that you can't eat too much of. You know that.
Then
Like, you ever sit there and like get one of those fat bags of candy corn and eat it all, and then like you're getting to your
not
last
all
couple
of it,
bits.
but like half.
Yeah, and
like,
then you get to your last couple bits and it's just gross.
You hate chocolate? Why do you hate chocolate? What are you hearing from me? What do you mean?
I think this person just they're upset with your candy judging choices.
I think I have good judgment, but hey, I'm gonna try and omit my bias.
Yeah, we just remember.
I get why you like these. They aren't for me. What were we
Swedish-
talking about? Candy corn. Okay, candy corn. Actually, you know what? Candy corn is C because it's seasonal.
Yeah, I agree with
So
that. It's
I
just
feel like I feel like Peeps we can move to C.
because it's
I
there's a
think
time
seasonal
and place.
candies and sweets should be C tier. That's a rough generalization, but
Almond
for the
Joy,
most-
get that shit out of here. Fuck Almond Joys. Anything with coconut is so gross
really,
to me.
I like.
I cannot do
coconut.
coconut.
Has grown on me. Coconut has grown on me. I'm not gonna lie, but I haven't had enough Almond Joys to
So
give a
gr-
solid argument for why
Oh,
not.
they're so gross, dude. The consistency.
Where do you see Almond Joy at?
Right here.
Uh,
Almond Joy.
Or those Mounds?
Mounds, Almond Joy, same thing,
same
dude.
thing,
They
right?
both got coconut in them and they're foul.
Let's see. Bubble tape. The gum tape.
I like the.
That's an S tier for me, just because of the nostalgia.
Yeah, it is real nostalgia.
And I wouldn't even like roll it out in the tape and do that. I would just take a bite out of the circle.
You animal.
I would chew like half
Coconut
the roll.
water is good. I will say coconut water or coconut rum is not bad.
I like
But
coconut rum, not water.
any coconut like chunks, bits of coconut, not a fan. I can't.
Really?
The consistency is too much for me, dude. It's just
I
weird.
don't like it. All right, let's do. We each choose 2 more to rank.
2 more.
We'll do 1 more each. 1 more each.
I'm gonna take the odd one out here, and I'm putting Milk Duds at a solid B. Super unpopular
Oh.
opinion. Milk Duds are like they're gonna rip your teeth out half the time you're eating
Milk
them,
duds
but
are
they're-
D for me. Once again, I get why you like them. Hate them though.
I love
Absolutely
the
hate
caramel.
'em. They're like
I like caramel.
What are the kind of like Milk Duds? They come in the Whoppers.
Whoppers are not at all like Milk
I thought
Duds.
those were like Milk Duds.
Whoppers are like they have a malt powder inside them.
Okay, gotcha. I remember, so like during Halloween, it was me and my friend Jared. We would always go trick or treating.
Uh-huh.
Our goal would to always be hit every. Our goal would always to be hit. Our goal would be to hit every single house in our neighborhood. And once we hit like 14, we were consistent. Like there were years we got twice around my entire neighborhood because we would sprint from house to house.
And you managed to like get people. Did you change costumes?
No, didn't even have to do that.
And
Because
the
our
peop-
neighborhood was big enough to where
They would
wouldn't
see so many-
remember.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
and there'd be repeat costumes. But
Out here scamming your neighbors out of candy, bro.
yeah, well, I would hit up the houses that gave out like king size
Bi-
bars.
ooh.
Hit those up like 4 times, 5 times even.
Savage.
But we would get like 10 pounds of candy each
Uh-huh.
per year, like a
my
ridiculous
God.
amount. And the tradition after Halloween trick-or-treating would be to sit in my living room. We would all dump out our bags of candy and trade candies with each other, like what we did and didn't like, and no one ever liked Whoppers. The only person who liked Whoppers that would ever be at our house was my mom, but she could only handle those for so long, too. So we'd give her, like, a few packs, and then we'd have just, like, this massive pile of Whoppers. And it became a tradition where we would unpack all of our Whoppers, evenly distribute them. We would go into our street and have a Whopper fight. We would pelt these Whoppers at each other just because no one wanted to eat them. So it became like a probably around 10-15 minute fight of us just pelting these
whipping Whoppers at each other.
What else was on our list for topics to talk about?
Let's see.
Because we talked about a lot of stuff that I was planning on hitting in this stream. Like, I mean,
let's see.
This candy was just kind of a random one I threw out there last time.
Yeah. I mean, we really have hit a lot of the things on our list. We've hit injuries. School is a very broad topic.
Yeah, it's hard to talk about.
Video games, we've talked about a lot over the past few streams.
Have we though?
Kind of. It was more of the group setting.
Yeah, the group setting we did.
Yeah. I mean, what I've started playing a lot, as you know, is Smash Ultimate.
Yeah.
I've been playing that game so much. And the thing I love about that game is it's an easy game to learn, but so hard to master.
Yeah.
And I think those are some of my favorite games if I'm looking for a non-casual game to play. Like, if I'm looking for something casual, I want easy to learn, easy to master. But, like, non-casual games, things I want to sit down with for a while, I like those easy to learn, hard to master. That's why I like chess, too. And I feel like I'm slowly becoming competent. I feel like that's the right word to describe where
you're at in
in
Smash.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think the newest Smash is probably one of the best games out on the Switch right now. Just because, like, I think a lot of the gaming community has always played some sort of Smash in their past, either it be Melee,
This is the first
Brawl.
Smash I had ever played.
There's people like you as well, but I think this Smash, like you said, like there is so many characters and like it's easy to learn, but it is hard to master. So like I've played against people who are so good, just like within my friend group, and just stomp me every time. But I like playing people who are a lot better than me, because every time I'm playing someone who's whooping my ass, I'm getting better. I'm learning.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's how it was like with me in Rocket League. Like I would always, like when I would stream, I still kind of stream on my own Twitch channel every so often, but I would always play with like people who were watching me who were like Champ 1 or Champ 2 or something like that, like probably 3 or 4 ranks above me, and it would be so much fun playing with them because 1, I felt like I was playing better, and 2, I kind of learned those higher level tactics that I don't get to witness as much in the current level I'm at, because I think learning from people who are better than you is obviously going to be the best way to learn, but it's a challenge too, and I love a good challenge.
Yeah, I mean, most recently, the game that I've been playing a lot more of recently is Rainbow Six Siege, and like I haven't gotten a high enough level to like play ranked play yet.
Okay.
But like I really like the way the game it plays, because it's not just like the run in there and just go crazy. Yeah, it's not run and gun. Like you gotta go at it slow, monotonously, watch your corners. Like it's very tactical.
Yeah,
it's a very tactical game, and like the people who are good at it and the people who have developed certain skill sets that like separate the noobs from like the standard like casual player. Yeah. Like I really like the mechanics of it, because once you figure out that's like you have to like peek around corners and literally look at every corner of the room before you go in it, like you will be that much better in every single fight you get in just by learning those tiny little tactics. And I just
the biggest thing I feel like with any game is learning the mechanics of it. Like, sure, there are certain tactics. I'll use Rocket League and Fortnite as an example. So for Rocket League, you have like your game sense, like how to rotate through the field, and you have like your game sense, and then you have more of your mechanics, like aerialing and air dribbles. But like
being
if you
a goalie, all that
like
stuff.
being good in the air with the ball and all of that. But like you can get to the point where you aren't the best at all of your mechanics, but your game sense on top of your mechanics is really good, which makes you better than someone who is more mechanically well off than you.
Yeah.
And the same goes like for Fortnite. If you have good gunplay and good aim and all of that, your building doesn't matter as much because you can still hold your own, just in a different mechanic of the game.
Yeah, when the building meta kind of came out in Fortnite, and I think it was like the end of season 2, beginning of season 3. That's when I kind of stopped playing because like I never switched my controls over to like the
Builder
Pro. Yeah, so I really struggled once building became as important as it was.
Yeah, and I feel like building was always meant to be an important thing.
Oh,
it
yeah.
just took people time to learn how important of a mechanic
And
it
how
was.
crazy to build. Like the people who sit there and just
Yeah, well, I remember back when Fortnite was, I want to say in its infancy, but not really. Like, do you remember TSM Myth?
Yeah.
He was a streamer on Twitch, and at the time he was like the best builder in Fortnite. And looking back, it's like so slow and everything compared to what these guys are just moving their mouse a million miles per hour and all of that.
Fortnite really changed the industry, just the whole gaming industry as a whole, and I'm glad that it did because it brought it to the forefront.
What do you mean by change the gaming industry? Because there are things I think Fortnite ruined for the gaming industry.
I think the fact that they introduced the constant updates and the constant working on games, like having the capability to put patches in anytime there's a bug rather than waiting like 3 months for the huge DLC drop to come and then all those patches to get put in.
They kind of do a constant releases instead of one big bundle.
I think that was a
really
really good aspect that Fortnite brought up to the community. But like I do agree that releasing half-assed games like happened because of Fortnite. They were such a crazy thing that popped out of nowhere and gained so much ground right off the rip that all these other companies were like, we need to do a battle royale, and a lot of companies took away from their other things that they did really well to make a half-assed battle royale to try and compete with them.
Yeah, I get that.
But
the thing is, with any popular trend, you're always gonna have everybody trying to hop on it to get on that craze. So I don't think it's necessarily Fortnite's fault that the Battle Royale popped off like it did and all these game companies made shitty stuff because of it. But I do think Fortnite was the main reason that all these Battle Pass implementations and
pay to win,
not even pay to win, but just like
pay for aesthetics.
Yeah, just like the Battle Pass, like you have to keep spending money. Or you just like the microtransactions. Microtransactions have always been
an issue,
a prevailing idea in money making for these gaming companies. I mean, it started with mobile games. Mobile games were really your first microtransaction platforms. But I feel like Fortnite, with their Battle Pass, kind of made that more mainstream with a Battle Pass option that you purchase every season and all of that. I mean, I think it's a good idea, but it can be poorly implemented, which can hurt a game a lot.
Yeah, I definitely didn't like how Call of Duty reacted to the Fortnite mix-up of the gaming industry because they made a lot of things like almost impossible to get without buying that Battle Pass. They made things so much more exclusive to people who are willing to spend that money. And in most of the cases, it was just cosmetics. But in some cases, there was certain weapons or certain specialists or certain like aspects of that game that you only could get through that Battle Pass, and a lot of people lost out on that. Like I definitely saw that in Black Ops 3 multiplayer. Because they eventually, I'm pretty sure they released a Battle Pass at some point.
That sounds right.
I think they had I'm not sure, it could have been Black Ops 4, but there was plenty of like guns and stuff that was in like supply drops and stuff like that I never could get because I wasn't willing to drop $100 on buying RNG supply drops that gave you like a 1% chance of even getting, it was just too
and
much.
kind of going back to your point about Fortnite kind of making game companies create shitty battle royales. I do kind of agree with that actually, because Fortnite made every game feel like they needed a battle royale to be able to compete with the scale of Fortnite, because Fortnite just blew up. So it kind of everyone kind of was like, what are we missing out on, kind of thing. So I do agree with you in that sense.
I also just feel like gaming development has become more lazy. But are you talking about Hyperscape WoW Boss?
Yes, that's
the new
exactly
game from
what he was
Ubisoft.
talking about.
Yeah, I haven't looked too much into it. I tried to see if I could get into like the tech testing, but I'm pretty sure it's only on PC right now for
that. I think that sounds right, because you have to watch like Twitch streamers who have key drops enabled. Yeah, I watched the trailer for it last night. It looks interesting. It kind of gives me like Overwatch and Valorant aesthetics with more Call of Duty gameplay. That's kind of the vibe I got from the trailer.
I thought it looked a little bit kind of like Titanfall gameplay, just because there was a lot of verticality.
Yeah, the mobility with it. I would agree with that.
I'm looking forward to it because there hasn't been a really big game drop recently.
The only thing that kind of puts me off is it's another battle royale, and that's the issue with anything that gets crazy popular, like Fortnite with its battle royale, is the market just gets oversaturated. And me personally, I know it's not for everybody, but I just get burnt out on that trend after a certain amount of time.
Yeah, like I remember when I first started playing Fortnite, I thought the battle royale game mode was just gonna be like the best thing in the world, and eventually I got to the point where I could win games relatively consistently. And by consistently, I mean like 1 or 2 a day. I would win games every once in a while, and I could put up a fight. But it just, I always found myself doing the exact same thing, getting the meta weapons, following the exact same path that everyone else was, and it just got repetitive. I mean, any video game can get repetitive, but I got really bored of battle royales because a lot of people caught up with my capabilities, and then I was just getting slapped around and not doing anything different because there wasn't anything different to do.
Yeah, that's the thing with battle royales, because regardless of the theme or the implementation, it really is just a drop into the same map, even maybe different maps depending on the game.
PUBG.
Loot up, get weapons, fight other people who are doing the exact same thing. Sure, there's going to be variations and little twists companies put on their own game, but a battle royale is a battle royale in that sense. But compare it to your first person shooters, like your Call of Duties and all that. Sure, it's repetitive, it's the same maps, but there's different game modes, there's different objectives, as opposed to kill everyone else and be the last one surviving.
I think Call of Duty Warzone did a pretty good job in adding a little bit more into the battle royale forefront, because they had the missions inside, which are capture, bounties, or what was the third one?
Scavengers?
Yeah, scavenger, bounties, and then captures. I like that a lot because it was like a game inside of a game.
Yeah, those submissions like you would have in campaign mode almost.
I like that a lot about Warzone, but I did the exact same thing with Warzone. I got burned down on it because I was doing the same thing every time. And
because sure, it's an additional feature. That's kind of what I was talking about. Each game has their own little twist, and that's Warzones. But it all boils down to last alive, kill everyone else. And it's just, that's the objective. That's the overarching objective that doesn't change.
I hope that this Hyperscape game drops onto all consoles and is multi-platform relatively soon, because I know little to nothing about it other than it's a battle royale, and I'd hope it's free once they drop it.
I would assume so.
So we'll see. I just hope that it's not a carbon copy of Apex Legends.
Yeah.
I'm worried that it's going to be really close to that, just because it looked it looked pretty mobile and it was first person.
And I feel like Apex kind of did a good job branching off from Fortnite, because Apex was kind of the
hero-based
secondary follow-up to Fortnite, the big secondary competitor. And they implemented it, sure, Battle Royale, last to survive, but like you just said, they implemented the hero aspect and different utilities and all of that, which I think is a good twist.
It gave people the ability to get the edge over others by knowing a character.
Because it didn't feel like every other Battle Royale.
Fights never really felt the same in that game to me. Every fight was incredibly different depending on how you played them out
Exactly.
and how the other person played them out. Because
Yeah.
like there was many times where you know I'd rush in there and like play super aggressively with shotguns, and like it just felt so different from the times where like you know you're literally just picking at someone's armor from like a long distance.
Because like the thing with Fortnite is everyone has the same gimmick. Everyone can build, but with Apex, every person has a different gimmick. You got your zip lines for Pathfinder, you got your portals with Wraith.
You got your shields.
Yeah, it boils down to the same thing, but there's that constant variety that you can choose from by choosing different heroes.
And every fight you get in is most likely going to be different compared to the one you were just.
And that's why I played Fortnite a decent amount, but I played Apex for way longer because there was that variability.
Yeah, I feel like Apex had a lot of replayability until they released like the Battle Pass, because then they offered that progression chain to go down, which gave people some sort of advantage.
I mean, that was all cosmetic.
I could have sworn wasn't
Apex
there
was
a
all
hero?
cosmetic.
Wasn't there a hero in the Battle Pass though, like towards the end?
No, those were more skins. You could buy all the different heroes with your coins or whatever, but you didn't have to like pay actual money for them.
Oh, maybe I just didn't play enough Apex.
I think that's kind of the standard for most games, because I think the first game to kind of implement like you can't pay to win was Minecraft with their EULA or ELUA. It was basically Mojang's overarching rule saying servers can't make it pay to win, where players who don't spend money are at a disadvantage. And that's spread to most games, because I can't name a single game, like mainstream AAA, AA, whatever it is, that it's you have to pay money to be able to compete at the highest level.
I guess I agree with that. There was a
because I feel like
in Black Ops 3 and 4 there were certain guns that had amazing stats and like were super overpowered in the Battle Pass or in supply drops that you had to spend a lot of money or just be really lucky in order.
So I didn't play that a lot, so I couldn't tell you for sure.
But I don't think I agree with that. I don't think there's many games now that it's like pay to win, except for like maybe FIFA or Madden
FIFA,
or like sports games where you get those
sports
characters.
Games are still most definitely pay to win. Not pay to win is the right word.
But it also requires you to have some skill.
Yeah.
I totally forgot that we talked about that last stream about how FIFA.
We did. Yeah, we talked a lot about soccer and some sports.
Yeah. Dude, I got a topic. So, I was I'm gonna talk a little bit about my high school experience and what I was involved with.
Oh, okay.
I was a band kid.
You give me band kid vibes. I'm just putting that out there.
Oh, fact, dude. I'm a goofball. But I started playing saxophone 5th grade. I played the alto saxophone for like a year and a half. And then I started playing the tenor saxophone when I was in...
What's the big difference between those two?
Alto is like...
Or is there a big difference?
Alto is like yay, and it's a lot higher pitched. It's like this big. And the tenor is like... Yay.
Oh, so there's actually a big difference.
Big difference. Like they're completely
like
different
size-wise,
instruments. And I played tenor all the way until senior year of high school. I was a part of marching band and concert band, and it was a really interesting experience for me because like...
What made it so interesting?
You know, I never appreciated band like some of the kids that were, you know, in band. Like there was many people who were super serious about it and were all about like being really strong musically, memorizing their music and like, you know, practicing what we were taught. So I was just kind of there for the fun.
Do you wish you were more of that kid who...
Oh, hell no, dude.
Okay.
Those kids always annoyed the hell out of me because like I just tried to have fun. That was my thing. I always wanted to have fun and be inclusive and like just be like, you know, a friendly guy in band, and like I made a lot of good friends there. And I really enjoyed marching band in high school because that brought me a lot closer to like my section in particular. We had our own little things that our own little like, I don't know what to call them, but
correct me if I'm wrong. I think I'm right on this, but like band is an extracurricular, obviously, but it's more on school time as opposed to like sports where they're after school. So it's kind of...
I mean, we went to every single football game, played at every football game,
but
we also had competitions
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
where we would go to a bunch of different schools.
Yeah. Well, like your band practice was during school time, right?
We had band camp over the summer, which was
yeah.
about a month long, from like 8 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon every day of the week, and like it was band camp was always really exhausting, just because I mean it wasn't that hard physically, but not marching around in the sun all day and getting one break for lunch was really exhausting, just in the fact that you were sitting out in the sun just sweltering hot. My senior year, I was such a fuck, dude. I used to only stay for like half of the band camp. I would always like leave after lunch, even though you never were supposed to do that, and I left every single day. I was just like, fuck this.
I mean, you're a senior.
I was a senior. I had all my music memorized, and I knew all my points to march around to when we were doing our competition shows and our opening for the football games. Yeah, I knew what I needed. I could have done better in a lot of cases, but like
you didn't care enough. Right?
I didn't care enough as a senior.
Yeah, so I don't really know band that well. I did band in seventh grade, 8th grade, something like that. I think it was just 7th grade and like 6th grade or whatever. So I'm not super familiar with all the band lore. I don't know. Lore is not the right word, but you know what I'm trying to say.
I always love the thing that was kind of fucked up about me and band is I love to make fun of the band kids, like the band kids, like the kids who were really serious about their music and they were like all about the memes and all.
So as an outsider, I see kind of just band kids as a whole, but as a band kid, they're the band kids.
Yeah,
what defines them as like a band kid?
They were the kind of kids that would like play music on their own and like learn things on their own that they weren't like required to learn, and like they took it a step above where
they enjoyed the music.
They really enjoyed it to the point where like they were like, I want to do something with this. And I remember I made this one girl that I dated in high school for a very short period of time fucking cry because it was our last home competition performance, and we had finished up and we were the last people to go on, and we were just like grouped up after it and like this like huddle around like the 50-yard line. And my friend Mike and we were just sitting there just cracking jokes while there was this heartfelt, emotional speech. We were just fucking like, just making fun of everyone. And then this girl turns around. She's like, how dare you? Some of us care about band. Some of us really want to do. Started like crying. And I was a dick. I was like, fucking, I don't care. And she just started bawling. And I was just, I took way too much pride in it. But oh my God, it was fucking hilarious though to see like how serious this one girl was with band.
What do you think from their perspective? They saw themselves as just like normal band kids, and you guys were kind of just like.
I was the bummy band kid, that's what I was.
So they kind of viewed you the same way you viewed them.
Yeah, we had our stereotypes that each of us filled.
Yeah.
I was a half-ass band kid who did everything he needed to do, but also had a lot of fun fucking around. Whereas the other ones were just nutty band kids who loved music.
They saw it as more of an opportunity to learn more about music and stuff they were passionate about.
I'm all about it. Some of those people were really, musically talented, and some of the stuff that they did was incredible. But
I'm just trying to take that both sides of the
look at the spectrum
river kind of approach.
I'm glad I did band though. It taught me a lot about like, just kind of like self-responsibility, because like I never had to memorize my music, and like you don't think much, like you might not think it's that hard, but when you have to memorize like an 8-minute piece,
it gets tricky fast.
Like there's a lot of stuff you had to memorize, and you had to just be able to play it like that while marching and being aware of all your surroundings. And towards the second or my junior and senior year, we had a lot more like it's weird. We had like ballet stuff in band. Yeah, we had to learn all these different.
How does that work?
So instead of just like marching around like you're supposed to, like there was all these different foot positions and different like ballet like.
It's like you were like swinging the instrument.
Not really. Like you didn't really do much with the instrument. It was more about your lower half of your body.
Okay.
And like just like basically placing your feet in such a fashion to like just stand out. There was like 6 different positions that we learned.
Okay.
And
give us a little demo.
Hell no.
Give us a little demo.
Hell no. I don't remember them. And
oh bullshit, you don't.
I don't.
Okay.
But they were it was really weird seeing that side of band where like instead of just caring about music and making shapes with with the entirety of the band marching around on the field, they cared so much about like your form and how you made each position look, and they took it really far.
Yeah. And I mean that makes sense because you are part of the larger group, so everyone in that each individual has to be together with that. It makes sense. Yeah.
The one thing that another thing that I learned from it is like trying how to teach someone who's unwilling to learn, because I had a freshman come in when I was a junior who was like incredibly hard-headed and unwilling to do anything, kind of like I was.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
And it really taught me that like you can't just like force someone to do something.
If they're not passionate about it, they're not gonna care.
And I mean, I definitely treated the kid, a little worse than I should have, just because like I would get chewed out for him fucking up.
Okay, yeah.
And
so his fuck up was your fuck up?
Yeah, his mistakes always fell back on me.
Gotcha.
Mainly because he never got his music checked off, and he never had the greatest form or super great just placement on the field. But I just had to learn how to like step back from it and like try and figure out ways that I could get him to take those steps to better his performance and
encourage instead of enforce.
Exactly. And I'm really glad that I did it the way I did, because I mean, if I just stuck with the mindset that I had the first year that I had to teach the kid, he would have never progressed at all. But at the end of the day, when I graduated and he was, still there in band, he had come a long way compared to where he was. And I was kind of happy.
You feel good about yourself for that too.
I felt like shit for treating him horribly for that first semester in band, because like he just annoyed the hell out of me. Like, he was the kind of person that would just say, I'll do it, and then not do shit right in front of you. And it's like, bro, what do you expect me to do when you're blatantly lying to my face? Like, do you expect me to just push it aside? Like, I cared about band just enough to try and make this kid do his stuff. But I didn't care enough to go over the top. And,
I think that's such a good thing to learn in high school, is just how to lead people. I mean, leadership skills in general are important, but I feel like that's such a great way to enforce it, to learn it. Especially early on. The earlier you learn it, the way better it is for you, because you learn that you can't force people to do something they don't want to do. You have to inspire them as opposed to forcing them or telling them to do this, because I don't think there's a single person in the world who loves getting told what to do.
Oh no,
I hate it. I like to think I act on my own free will, and people like to think people want to feel like they still have that free will, and usually they do. But it's just being able to be persuasive and reinforcing voice as opposed to enforcing voice.
Band taught me a lot about leadership, and I think I learned more than I can even appreciate, because there is just so much to it. Band was a weird time. I'm glad that I'm glad that I didn't do marching band in college, because the stigma for marching band kids already, it's like pretty low. Like, people look at a marching band kid, they're like, this kid is about to be weird as fuck.
I feel like I would have agreed with that stereotype.
Dude, there was so many times though. I always loved this. But every time we would go to a football game, after both bands would put on their shows, you would always, end up like talking to the other band during like the during the second half of the game. And I would always run into like I would always try and like meet new kids in the other bands sometimes. but like it was really hard to find someone that I could put up with, because the majority of these kids that you would find were just the furthest stereotype, just crazy weird people.
What's going on there? Hey KJ, thanks for the follow. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That was
The noise distracted me. I'm like a dog.
Oh, squirrel.
Notification?
But yeah, band was quite a time. I'm glad that I didn't do it in college, because it's even. I don't know if the stigma is the same in college. I think it's a little bit less, because like it's more of a choice for the people to be there.
People are living their life, and people. I feel like for the most part, you'll get your people who do and don't grow, but people tend to grow a lot in college and become more accepting, especially in the kind of college we go to, more liberal and all of that. But I feel like college, people realize there's no need to be petty or
cliquey.
Cliquey, exactly. Live your life.
Let others live theirs.
Yeah. So,
thanks for coming to the OPB podcast.
I was just gonna catch everybody up on the game plan, because we kind of came to that decision real quick. Following. So if you're not following, follow
on YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat.
Yep.
And I don't know.
Yeah.
Those ones.
But been a good podcast, good conversation.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So stay tuned. We'll be back in a bit.
Thanks.
Peace out. Oh wait, this is awkward. I gotta go to my computer.
Because you.
I forgot to lock my phone.